Good evening and welcome to the future, otherwise known as episode 63 of Tomorrow's World Audit Time. Evening, Mark.
Evening, Russ. How are you?
Oh, very good, Mark. Very good. Feels like ages since we did one of these, isn't it? I'm absolutely raring to go. Absolutely raring to go.
It has. You're busting, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're busting to audit. Yeah.
Busting to audit. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. How about you? You in a good auditing mood?
Yes, I thought about it and everything, Russ, and yes, I am. Yes.
Excellent.
I've got my special pen and everything. I've ready to my hand to audit.
Oh, did you see that? Actually, that's a good thing we could talk about, Mark. Did you see the email that we got?
No.
We got an
Today?
email. I'm going to read out this email.
Oh, this is new to me.
Hang on. You're obviously not checking our inbox regularly. It's an email from a bloke called Gary, who goes by the name Immersed Robot. I think he does things about VR on YouTube.
Have we just doxed him?
But he listens to our podcast while driving, and he said, anyway, I stumbled across an old episode of Noel's House Party from 1992 on YouTube.
I'm leaning in, Gary.
Howard Stableford and Carmen Price happened to be appearing in the lyric quiz segment, and then he gave us a link, and I have watched it, Gary, and thanks for sending that over. I think that does mean we will have to do some sort of episode in the future, maybe next episode or episode after, possibly that encompasses this, and a bit of chat about Noel's House Party. What do you think, Mark? You think they say it's an interesting subject to cover?
Oh my God. I mean, a chill went down my spine, and I don't know whether it's excitement or fear. But I think that sounds absolutely fantastic. My only regret about discussing this at the front of this episode is that we can't do that lovely thing where we pretend that we don't know we're going to do it until we do it. Oh, yes, we can. We'll do it anyway.
Yeah, we'll do it anyway. We'd have forgotten by then anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's really wow. That's so exciting. We do chuck around ideas as to fun things we can do. Like we asked, do you reckon X, Y, and Z was on this episode of something? And sadly, invariably not.
Yeah, it's an interesting segment. I mean, you can,
I don't remember the lyric quiz.
It's basically, I think they've grabbed whoever was in the BBC bar at the time, and it's Howard and Carmen on one. Howard and Carmen on one team, and a very young Krishnan Guri Murphy and Juliet Thingy, who presented Newsround as well. So it's Newsround versus Tomorrow's World.
Okay,
and they have to sing along to songs, and it gets a bit chaotic. As obviously, the notoriously chaotic Noel's House Party.
As is his want,
yes,
right?
Yeah,
that sounds like a special episode.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, obviously. So if any of you out there do ever spot any of the Tomorrow's World people in other media, unexpected locations, feel free to email us at tomorrowsworldaudit@gmail.com. Because it's always fun.
I mean, let's be honest. If you don't email us and tell us about it, who else are you going to tell?
No one else is going to give a solitary
no one in your real life cares. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, right, on to today's episode, Mark. Now, we realised that even though we've done 62 episodes, we have never done an episode from 1983. Weirdly.
Amazingly.
Yeah. So we had a quick look. What huge world-changing events happened in 1983?
Epoch-defining events, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I did read somewhere that officially the internet started in 1983.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But then, obviously, as soon as we saw this, went, no, that's what we're going to do. On my birthday, Mark, January 23rd, 1983, the A-Team premiered on NBC directly after Super Bowl XVII, which is 17. Super Bowl 17. Yeah, the first ever episode of the A-Team, Mark. And I thought, well, we should do something about that. We could just talk about the A-Team, but I think it's more interesting to talk about the star of the A-Team, Mark, mainly. An absolute hero, lifelong hero of mine, and that is, of course, Mr. T.
You are not being sarcastic.
No,
yep.
No,
you're being, yeah.
I think Mr. T is truly one of the greatest famous people to there's ever been, and I think that he he started out well and then kind of tailed off, because he became too commercialized and too he became neutered, Mark. He was neutered by commerce and things like that. But I want to
by the man.
Today, I think by the end of this episode, I would have demonstrated that Mr. T is genuinely one of the greatest men to have ever lived. that is my side project alongside auditing this episode of Tomorrow's World.
Is that your commitment to me and the audience?
That is my commitment.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a story I'm going to tell in 3 parts. This is the intro, Mark. This is the intro.
Yeah.
I'll give you some background of Mr. T. What was quite good was I actually did quite a lot of my research for this 10 years in advance, Mark, because I don't know whether you remember this. Back in 2016, I wrote an article for the website Den of Geek where I had read Mr. T's autobiography, The Man with the Gold.
Yeah.
And I was clearly at a loose end. I may have been between jobs or something, but I realised that not everybody will have read that book, so I needed to tell the world what all the great stuff that was in it. So I wrote an article. So it's still on the internet. You can still find it. If you just type in the Mr. T, the Man with the Gold, it's about the fourth result down. I've misplaced my own copy of the book. I don't know what I've done with it, and I just checked on Amazon, and the cheapest copy available on Amazon is £46, Mark. I've lost £46. Yeah, it's a highly valuable tome, much more valuable than that PT book I bought you the other day, or Fly Fishing by J.R. Hartley.
Oh my God. Did we discuss this in any of our calls? My wife said, what keeps on arriving for you? Oh yeah. This will come up in an episode soon. Yeah, all these amazing novelty tie-in books from advertising. Thanks, Russell. They're on my shelf just here, next to the I think the world's largest collection of Tomorrow's World partner books.
What a library you've got there, Mark. It really impresses people. You should have it in your background in your Zoom calls, like.
I should do, shouldn't I? Yeah. You know, people like to nose, don't they?
Yeah. So but also, if you do want to read the book, I did find that archive.org have a copy that's scanned in that you can read for free. It's like a library book. So I recommend everyone do that. But if you can't be bothered to do that, you could just listen to me tell you some of the main points from it. So Mr. T was born in 1952. So it's his birthday about 3 weeks ago, and he was 74. So he's born. So yeah. 74, I think he's doing quite well for 74. He did have cancer a few years back, but he survived that. But he was born Lawrence Terode, that's his real name, in Chicago. He grew up in the projects of Chicago, very, very poor. He shared a 3-bedroom apartment, 3-room apartment, with his mother, 4 sisters, and 7 brothers. So,
Jeez.
So that's 13 of them living in a 3-room apartment.
But not the dad.
No, well, the dad. I mean, classic. The deadbeat dad moved. I think
so. The dad sticks around to produce 11 kids, but when the 11, so surely he raised the first 10.
He left when Mr. T was 5. Anyway, that's the only information I could find.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And you may be wondering why is he called Mr. T? Why didn't he just call himself Lawrence Terode?
Yeah.
And I think this is quite interesting because Mr. T has a very strong black identity. That's one of the very key things about him. So his explanation is this. He says, I think about my father being called Boy, my uncle being called Boy, my brother coming back from Vietnam and being called Boy. So I question myself, what does a black man have to do before he's given respect as a man? So when I was 18 years old, when I was old enough to fight and die for my country, old enough to drink, old enough to vote, I said I was old enough to be called a man. So I self-ordained myself Mr. T. So the first word out of everybody's mouth is Mr. That's good, isn't it? It's good, isn't it?
That is really good. Yeah.
Anyway, so then he joined the National Guard military police in Wisconsin in 1975. And I think the main story from those years that I enjoyed was his platoon sergeant. Mr. T done sort of misdemeanor, and his platoon sergeant punished him. And he said, and for his punishment, he gave him an axe and told him to start chopping down trees and not to stop until he was told to. And obviously the platoon sergeant wandered off and just forgot that he just told Mr. T to do that. So Mr. T just kept chopping down trees. For 5 hours, he chopped down trees. Oh. By the end of it, he chopped down over 75 trees single-handedly in 5 hours.
Jeez Louise.
which works out as 1 tree every 4 minutes.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So yeah. So then, clearly being a man of extreme fitness and strength, he decided to become a bouncer on the door of Dingbats Disco in Chicago, right? And this is where he got his famous jewelry thing. So what would happen is if there was like a fight or somebody got turfed out of the nightclub, like a piece of their necklace might fall off or their bracelet or whatever.
Okay.
And obviously, if that person came back to collect it, they probably wouldn't want to. They wouldn't want. They'd either be banned from the nightclub and not be able to go in, or they wouldn't want to go back in because the person they'd had a fight with might be in there. So Mr. T just started, because he's standing out the front. He just started wearing the necklaces and the bracelets and stuff, and then quite a lot of people just didn't come back for them. So he just ended up getting a larger and larger collection of bracelets and necklaces. Now that's where that's what that came from. And then he decided he needed a new haircut, and he was reading a National Geographic book, and obviously a lot of people think that he's got a Mohican. It's not a Mohican. I mean, it looks a bit like a Mohican, but it's not. He was looking at this National Geographic book, and there was this article about the Mandinka tribe from West Africa. And it's worth looking them up because they have the most creative haircuts you've ever seen. Like they just like I don't know what products are available to a West African tribe to do their hair, but they're extraordinary. But yeah, so he saw this one particular haircut on a Mandinkan warrior, and he went, I'm going to have that haircut to sort of make a statement about my African origin. So yeah, so he reckons that during his like career as a bouncer, he was in over 200 fights and won every single one of them. And any ensuing court cases that were against him for people that he'd beaten up. So he got quite a reputation for being tough, and word got around. So he ended up. So this enabled him to move on to bigger and brighter and bigger things. So the first thing he did is he became a bodyguard, right? And he was like one of the most famous and highly paid bodyguards going at the time. He's got a list of he names like various people he's bodyguard for. He says he bodyguarded for 8 bankers, 19 actors and actresses, 17 male and female entertainers, 8 airline stewardesses, 42 millionaires, 5 preachers, 3 politicians, 4 store owners, 8 housewives, 14 secretaries, 7 clothes designers, 6 athletes, 7 judges, 4 attorneys, 5 models, 10 school teachers, 16 prostitutes, 4 stockbrokers, 9 welfare recipients, 10 executives and 18 children. He bodyguarded for over the years. He had multiple famous clients, including Steve McQueen, Michael Jackson, LeVar Burton, Geordie LaForge himself, and Diana Ross. But his main bodyguarding jobs were in boxing. So a lot of the book he talks about being the bodyguard to Leon Spinks, and Leon Spinks was catapulted to fame because he completely unexpectedly beat Muhammad Ali in a boxing match. And I've got at the bottom there some pictures of Mr. T guarding Leon Spinks. And look how cool he looks. He always wore.
Look pretty cool.
He's not got his Mohican yet there, and he always wore that double-breasted suit with a carnation when he was doing it, and those big dark glasses.
He looks amazing. Yeah.
We moved on from Spinks after that, after a few years, and he actually started bodyguarding for Muhammad Ali himself. And you can see there's a photo of him being Muhammad Ali's bodyguard on the right. Right, and I just think, what? Is there any greater testament to how hard you must be that you are bodyguarding the world's greatest ever boxer? That's pretty. I think it's pretty impressive, personally.
That is amazing.
Yeah. There's a great quote from his book where he says, "When I'm ready to fight, my opponent has a better chance of surviving a forest fire wearing gasoline drawers." It's a shame I can't do the voice because I'd like to do the voice. Anyway, right. So the second big job opportunity was NBC approached him, and they had at the time they had this TV series called Games People Play, and I think it's outrageous that this program isn't on television anymore, right? Because it was basically it's the sort of thing that you imagine the BBC having on. Actually, it was basically people playing stupid sports. Yeah, so there's like beer drinking competition, belly flop contest, taxi cab demolition derby, and I have got a trailer from it. So this is a trailer, and you'll be able to spot Mr. T in the trailer because he was taking part in a segment of the show called America's Toughest Bouncer.
We're proud. Say it again. NBC, we're proud. Now the hit Sunday Games special has become a great new series, Games People Play. It's tugging and slugging, brawling and falling, crashing and splashing. People competing in some common and rather uncommon events just for the fun of it. It's the wild world of sports. Games People Play premieres Thursday, August 21st.
That looks tremendous, doesn't it, Mike? It looks It's not great fun, isn't it? So in America's Toughest Bouncer segment, one of the events involved throwing a 70-kilogram dwarf stuntman through a 4-inch thick wooden door.
Okay.
Unfortunately, no footage of this exists, Mark. I would have loved to. I would have loved to have shown you some of that. But there was another. The toughest event was called the Blast, where each bouncer had to jump from behind a bar, run around a group of tables filled with people, jump over a rail, and then run through a 4-inch wooden door. They must have got through loads of 4-inch wooden doors in this program, and then ring a bell to stop the clock. And I did see a YouTube comment saying, "I remember Mr. T broke through that door in spectacular fashion. It literally exploded, right?" And then in his book, Mr. T says that he practiced for that event by going back to his old stomping grounds in the ghetto and finding condemned buildings and just running through the doors and walls in the building. And people phoning the police going, "There's somebody trying to demolish houses with their bare hands in this area." So he ended up winning the competition twice, the only person to do so. And each competition, I think you saw a bit there, there was a boxing match. Each competition ended in a boxing match, right? And the first time he won his boxing match in 20 seconds. And then the second one, he won his boxing match in 54 seconds. And wouldn't you know it, Mark, there was one very famous movie star sitting at home watching Mr. T win that boxing match. And he had a light bulb come on over his head, Mark. And I will leave it there.
Oh, who could that be?
Who could it be, Mark? Who could it be?
Yeah, Elliot Gould.
But yeah, shall we get into the Tomorrow's World?
When the rain gets in and stops my mind from wandering where it will go.
Ooh.
I'm feeling the cracks that ran through.
You know, the real problem of doing roofing work in this country is this country. Take it easy. Or to be more accurate, this country's weather. Enough! That rain means I'd have to start all over again, because the mortar I'm using to fix this ridge tile needs around 6 hours to dry. Oh, and you better make sure it's not too cold outside either, because frost will make the water already in the mortar expand and cause it to crack. Bright sunshine, on the other hand, could dry it out too quickly. Bright sunshine. Still, here's another way, and it's a very different method, using no mortar whatsoever. Instead, 2 tracks of extruded plastic nailed to the rafters, which act as a bed for the tile. And that's where it goes. And then, to keep the tile in place, and indeed to seal it, a sort of plastic collar which clips in underneath. And finally, to keep the rain out, these plastic pieces underneath. Now, you needn't wait for perfect weather, and as importantly, you don't need to worry about cracks in the mortar in years to come. The verges are another area, though, where mortar will eventually suffer. So, instead of that mortar, more interlocking pieces of plastic. And what you end up with, according to the manufacturers, is a completely dry-fix, maintenance-free roof. Boom.
Nice to see a presenter in double denim, Mark, isn't it? It's always a treat.
Absolutely was the first thing I was going to ask, because I need to know, is double denim simply jeans and some kind of denim top? In this case, he's wearing a denim shirt. Or does it have to be jeans and a jean jacket?
No, I think if it's jeans and a jacket, then then you've got a Canadian tuxedo
right?
there.
Okay, so that's the delineation.
But I think
right?
as long as it's both top and bottom of denim, then that counts as double denim, I would say.
Perfect. Then in that case, it is lovely to see a presenter in double denim.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think he's obviously Willy. We've seen double denim before. I don't know anybody else in it. I don't think we'll ever see Raymond in double denim.
No, maybe, I don't know. That's the thing, I don't know. Seems unlikely, though, right?
Yeah, but he's wearing his rugged outerwear because he's high up on a roof somewhere, Mark.
He's a sturdy blue collar worker, Russ. He's one of the men. He's one of the lads. Yeah.
I do think it's funny because workmen generally don't wear denim anymore, and I can understand they all wear tracky bottoms, don't they? And I can understand why, because that's much more comfortable. And you've got much more freedom of movement. I wonder when the switch over came, when people went, "Oh, hang on a minute, why are we wearing jeans to do this when we could just wear Do you think tracky bottoms have reached a point of becoming socially acceptable enough to just wear it? I don't know. But I don't know whether the workman would ever care about being socially acceptable. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, the implication is that they care. It's like, I don't know. It's a good question. Do you know, it's probably a generational shift. But I don't know when. Do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I've not really tracked it. What do Dutch workmen wear?
They do the European. Tend to do the European thing because most Europeans wear proper dungaree type overalls.
Yeah, like a utility dungaree,
which obviously is clearly makes the most sense because you can stick your tools in all the various pockets and all of that. Yeah.
But then if you wear that, how are you supposed to have your arse crack hanging out?
No, exactly. You literally can't, Mark, unless you unless you built some sort of trapdoor, like a pair of
viewing window,
a pair of long, an old pair of prospectors long johns.
Yeah.
That's a good point, mate. Maybe the Europeans are just more modest. Oh, maybe it's because, especially in the Netherlands, a lot of people riding bikes.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people riding bikes. You've got that exposed. Somebody might come and park a bike in it, mightn't they? You know, you just keep it covered up.
That's true. I mean, I was assuming it's just because they're always naked anyway. So the rarity is them having clothes on.
Well, I mean, it's not a very particularly exciting segment, is it?
No.
Interested to hear the Beatles. I'm always surprised when you hear the Beatles in a sort of like a very mundane context like this, because you always think, but they should be elevated to some sort of
yeah. It's not the go-to. They're not, they're too good, aren't they? to be linked to this dross.
Yeah.
But then that's the BBC special PRS deal, right? They can play whatever they goddamn want.
Yeah. Is it Fixing a Hole from Sergeant Pepper? I looked to see if there's anything interesting about the song, and it's written by Paul McCartney, and he says that it was about. The song is about a little. He took a load of LSD and he saw a little blue hole in front. And he just wrote about that. So it's just about this little blue hole he saw when he took LSD. And he says that apparently over the years it's reappeared every so often. You know, it's just he says it's not like he's hallucinating. It's like it's actually there. He says. But the most interesting thing about this song is that it was the first Beatles record not to be recorded at Abbey Road because the studios were all booked up when they went to record it. So they had to go record it at Regent Studios. But as Macann was leaving his house to go to the recording, there was a bloke standing outside his house who introduced himself as Jesus Christ. And so he would obviously taken even more LSD than Macann, and was in a bit of a bad way. So good old Macann. So he just said to him, so I said, I've got to go to a session. I can't do the voice. I've got to go to a session, but if you promise to be very quiet and just sit in a corner, you can come. So he did. He came to the session and he did sit very quietly, and I never saw him again after that. So it may actually have been Jesus.
That could have been Jesus, yeah. Okay.
I'd like to go and see the Beatles record a song. But yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Did you see Paul McCartney's Chicken Shop date recently?
No, I didn't. I missed that one.
Good. I recommend watching it. It was his humour in it was a side of him that I don't think I've seen before. Like he was really like sharp and like. And he completely understood, because you know her whole thing is she's awkward and weird.
Yeah.
He completely like bought into it and just went along with it, you know. But yeah, it was very good.
Two thoughts on that. I'm beginning to worry that Amelia de Mulderberg is not going to find anyone. I find that very concerning. I'd like her to find someone so she can move on with her life. Two, the best thing that ever happened to Paul McCartney, ignoring his careers at the Beatles, is when he stopped dyeing his hair with that.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's just like he just relaxed. Like he just became more honest and open. I do not believe. I've not put any effort into this theory, but I suspect they're connected. The Paul McCartney you saw on Chicken Shop Date is connected to the Paul McCartney who made the decision to no longer dye his hair, even though we all knew he was dyeing his hair.
He's still got a lovely head of hair, I must say. It's I was admiring it. But it definitely looks a hell of a lot better not undyed.
Oh yeah.
This roof thing, I have to say, I was rather sceptical when I saw it, because I was so like plastic outdoors. I don't know. Gives
Beyond,
the idea
like,
of
sheds.
flimsiness, getting cracked, all of that sort of stuff. And you think, well, you know, surely putting these tiles up with proper mortar, you know, good old fashioned mortar. That's gonna be better. Right? Yeah. It's proper man's way of putting up a roof. I mean, this looks like he's basically got a Meccano set or a Lego set or something, isn't it? It looks like the cheat's way out. So yeah, I was very, very dubious. So I was absolutely shocked, Mark, to discover.
No, I don't buy it. Sorry, I'm not believing you, Russell. Whatever you're going to say is next is a lie. Go on then.
To discover that not only does it exist now, but it is essentially the preferred way of fitting roofs, to the point where health and safety regulations, you have to go out of your way to fit roofs any other way than this way. Because
no.
The idea is that so it is specific. So they're proper tiles. They're not. I think you thought they were plastic tiles. They're not. They're proper tile. They're terracotta tiles.
Right. I swear he handles plastic tiles. Isn't
Well, he might have plastic tiles, but they're not meant to be plastic
right.
tiles.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So it's just the fittings that are plastic.
Right.
But what? So they decided that one of the problems with roofs is that those ridge tiles, because obviously you've got all your tiles are all latticed together, so they can't move.
Yeah.
The only ones that can move
whatever,
are the ridge tiles, because they're on top. And the problem is with mortars, it dries out, it cracks and stuff, and so you end up with those ridge tiles in a storm blowing off, potentially braining somebody, or just causing loads of water to get in your roof. So that the safety regulations now stipulate that those ridge tiles have to be screwed down, so that they can't possibly ever fly off. And the best way of screwing them down, Mark, is with what's called a dry ridge system. And this is, Kieran's showing us here, is basically a very early version of the dry ridge system. I've got a video, very quick video, of a builder. Unfortunately, it's a YouTube short, so it's very long and thin, which always annoys me. But a builder showing you what a modern dry ridge system looks like. And it really is bish, bash, bosh. Here we go.
This customer's requested the ridge tiles taken off and replacing. We've just got them all ripped off. We're going to fit a segmental anthracite grey ridge tile in a maintenance-free dry ridge system. We're going to start by fitting as batten and then we as carpet. Right, that's a full 2B1 batten on. We're just going to blow it all down now and get carpet laid down. This carpet's starting to go down. Making sure it's at centre at batten, sticking it down either side. For those that saying it doesn't stick, it does. Right, that's all the carpet stuck down, ready for the ridge tiles. That's your ridge tiles starting to get laid. For anyone asking, this is a plastic collar that goes in between each ridge tile. Right, that's all the ridge tiles laid. We're just going to go across now and start screwing them, getting them all straight. Right, that's all the ridge tiles on and screwed down. Jobs are good.
Wow.
There you go. Okay. Job done.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's an absolute.
I like the bit where he calls out the haters.
Yeah. Because people are still because obviously everyone's like us and immediately distrustful of it because they've never noticed it before. But apparently, if you get a roof done now, they'll do it like that every time, unless you specifically ask them. To do it, and then they'll tell you that it's a bad idea not to do it that way because that's the best way to doing it.
Gosh,
but it's
right. Okay.
It's quicker and cheaper.
Shocked.
Quicker and cheaper to install. It's much more weatherproof. And the reason the plastic doesn't degrade is because they treat it with a special anti-UV thing that they mix in with the plastic, so it won't ever crack in the sunlight. It's much more flexible, so it doesn't crack. So obviously mortar would crack over the years. That's one of the main problems. So you have to renew them every so often. With this system, it will last much, much longer. And there's there's a gap underneath, so there's more improved ventilation, so you don't get mold and rot and stuff forming. Roofers love it. It's it's the modern miracle of roofing. Mark, that's what I'm saying.
All right, that's amazing.
I mean, and it looks so easy. I feel like if I ever need to re-roof my house, I might have a go at it myself. The only thing I did notice in that is he was very blasé about walking around on top of that roof. Did you notice that?
I didn't like that. Yeah, of course I noticed that. I did not like that at all. He just doesn't care. All right, I'm shocked and I'm delighted. What's next?
Black Rider. Are you receiving me?
Black Rider to base. Receiving you.
Do exactly as I tell you. Follow this road until you come to a turning on the right.
You'll see a gate 100 yards on your left. Turn into it. I can see it now. Hey, what's happening? There's little point in you trying to do that. I've control of your ignition. I've switched it off.
Well, this is really the very latest in training aids for motorcyclists.
Inside the helmet are 2 headphones and a microphone. And they are connected to a CB which has a range of 2 miles.
It's voice activated, and it means that an instructor can have instant two-way communication with his pupil. But not only that, if he happens to want to slow the pupil down, or as in my case, stop him altogether, perhaps he's heading for a dire emergency, then he can do so by pressing a button, which is unfortunately called the kill button, and normally fitted to his motorbike.
Along with greater restrictions on learner drivers to be introduced next week, this new training system is all part of an effort to ensure safer motorcycling.
When you overtake the blue car, remember, look behind, signal, move out and go. Is that all right? Yep, fine.
Incidentally, of all those who try to pass their tests without coming to a specially set-up training centre like this, over 60% fail. So it only goes to show that there's plenty of room for improvement. Can I go yet?
Yes, you've got control of your ignition. But this time, don't go too fast.
Pull up to the bumper, baby. It's a bit kinky, isn't it, Mark? Bit of a kinky section there for old Macann.
Do you think... Yeah, do you think they know what they were doing? Or do you think it was incidental or accidental?
Do you think there's any Macann heads at home watching that? Get a bit hot under the collar?
Into Macann as leather, daddy. Yeah. I think like there's got to be, right? The thing is, they may not know it, but they are. You freaks! You freaks! You dirty freaks! We approve.
Yeah. He's all in black, much like the
creaking,
the short-lived TV series Street Hawk. Mark, I was wondering whether he was any sort of influence on that. You know, seems we're talking
Seems highly likely,
about Saturday tea time action shows. Do you think Macann is the only member of the Toureur's World team with a motorbike license? Because he's notably the only person we've ever seen riding a motorbike in this program, isn't he? I'm sure. Oh, actually, I'm sure Raymond's got one, but I don't ever seen him ride a motorbike.
The thing is, he probably has a motorbike. He probably doesn't have a license so much as he just like aged into it in the sense that anyone could ride anything back then, and they just didn't bother testing. You know.
Actually, this is interesting, Mark. My dad rides a motorbike, even though he's 83 years old, and keeps crashing it.
Sounds safe.
I did text him and asked him.
Can you get stabilizers for a motorbike when you're that age?
I did text him. I don't think he stabilises. He just needs like an airbag or something. What his motorbike test was like? Because he would have taken his motorbike test in the late 50s, and he told me. So he said the examiner told him what route to follow, and then presumably knew how long it would take. So he didn't even like follow him around or anything.
Wow.
He just like send him on his way. And then for the emergency stop, my dad had to travel at 30 miles per hour. And the examiner jumped out from behind something and waved his clipboard to get to the emergency stop. And then he asked him 3 questions about the highway code, and that was it. And he job done. Passed fast time, amazingly. He could go out and then buy himself whatever motorbike he wanted.
Yeah, I've no doubt they're all drunk when they're doing it anyway. It's when you hear stuff like that, it's a miracle any of us are alive now. That any of our parents or grandparents were able to live long enough to reproduce.
But then I was looking at motorbike tests, like what while I was searching about motorbike tests, it came up like a discussion about motorbike tests in America. It turns out that's basically the test there is still even now pretty much that bad. When you're learning, they don't teach you on a road at all. You just have to do a multiple choice test first. You get your learner's license, but as long as you pass that, and as soon as you have that learner's license, you can buy any motorbike you want. You don't have to. Obviously, over here, you have to be like, I think 50cc. I think it is. You have
to work your way up through the cc levels, right?
No, over there. So I saw somebody on Reddit say, so I'm in Pennsylvania. I answered like 10 questions on a computer and went out and bought a Kawasaki Ninja. The Kawasaki Ninja does 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds.
That's not even I know what one of those is.
So assuming you've not died while practicing on the roads on your own on a Kawasaki Ninja, the description of the motorbike test I've read was that you just go to a car park, or parking lot as they like to call it, and the examiner sits behind you in a car following you, and he honks his horn like a certain note, like he goes honks once for you to turn right, honks twice for you to turn left or whatever, and you go around the car park, and as long as you don't fall off, then you've just got your full license, and that's it. I don't.
How are there any Americans alive?
Yeah, it's amazing. I guess. Yeah, I mean, you can get away from shootings really quickly, so maybe
that's true.
That balances out. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Go on then. Yeah, it all makes sense now.
Yeah. It's completely obvious, this invention, to us, isn't it, Mark? I mean, it's
yeah.
I mean, it's weird to think that this didn't exist, but of course it didn't exist. Before, when technology wasn't as good enough. It's just a two-way radio in a helmet, and then there is also the addition of the kill switch, which brings the motorbike to a halt remotely, which just seems dangerous to me, Mark. I don't know.
The thing is, they also make it look really dangerous in this. Like, they make it look like no matter how fast Macann's going, at least he's in control of what he's doing.
Exactly,
whereas the second he presses, it's just like it's just stuttering. Like he almost collapses himself, even though we know he obviously is a fantastic cyclist.
Well, I mean, he's the only cyclist I've ever seen that's flown through the air.
That's true.
But no, bikes do have a kill. All motorbikes have a kill switch, but it's not remote. It's just for the rider, because obviously it's very important to have an ability to cut the engine of your bike as quickly as possible. So if you ever see that little red switch on the handlebar of a motorbike, that is the kill switch. But obviously, I mean, there's not much to say. These two-way radio systems for cyclists are widely available, not just for instructors and pupils, but also for just people who are just out motorcycling together. If you're going on a road trip with your mate and you're on separate bikes, then you can put these in your helmets and natter away as you're screaming around corners and narrowly avoiding decapitating yourself underneath lorries and whatever else they get up to. That's it, really, Mark. Anything you'd like to say?
Enjoyed the Grace Jones song. That was nice.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything interesting about that song. The only interesting thing, about Grace Jones, there's many interesting things about Grace Jones, but the thing that most interests me about Grace Jones is that in a subsequent album, "Slave to the Rhythm," there's spoken word elements to it, which are provided by Lovejoy.
Okay.
Who apparently his real name is Ian McShane. I had no idea. I've never known him as Lovejoy, obviously, Mark.
What do you mean real name?
I don't. Anyway, so the producer of the Slave to the Rhythm album, Trevor Horn, apparently Lovejoy was in 1985 was in a fish and chip shop in Notting Hill Gate having fish and chips with his wife, and he looks over to one of the other tables and Trevor Horn's there, and apparently Trevor goes, "Ian, how are you? What are you doing after dinner? Do you want to come over and do something? I need a voice for this new album, and Orson Welles is dead." Yeah, that's how Lovejoy ended up being on the Grace Jones album.
The other thing I'd say is there's something that might seem sexist, but I've decided to rule it out. I know we normally put this in, but I'm just going to highlight it at the moment because we discuss it later. Macann says it's voice activated and it means that an instructor can have instant two-way communications with his pupil. I'm going to rule it out because I doubt there were many female instructors at the time. It just feels like the sexism is that every instructor was some kind of spotty man. Because the voice when he clicks in, especially because like that's a funky tune by Grace Jones, and then you just have this nerd come in saying, "No, do try not to go too fast."
Actually, that's something that just popped in my head. You never see motorcycle display teams. I haven't seen one of those for years.
No,
It used to be all the rage.
right.
It used to be all the rage,
Yeah,
didn't they?
they did. Yeah. I've not seen one of those for a while.
Wasn't it like the Air Force who did it or something like that? Or was it
Police?
Was
I
it
think
the
it was
police?
the police. Yeah, it was always the police or something like that.
Yeah, it makes more sense being the police than the Air Force, doesn't it? I was getting confused with
You'd like to think the Air Force could be a bit more impressive.
I was getting confused with the Red Arrows. Right.
Yeah. Easily done. All right, next.
Eye the Tiger, Mark. Eye the Tiger.
The American Medical Association meets here in Las Vegas next month at Caesar's Palace to hammer out the dangers of boxing. An ironic choice of venue because it was here that the Korean boxer Duck Koo Kim suffered fatal brain damage only 2 months ago during the World Boxing Association lightweight title fight. And boxing has killed over 350 other men since 1945, and it's damaged the brain of countless others. When a man's head is punched, the brain is at risk because this most sensitive and important organ is not a good fit. It moves to and fro in the fluid within the skull, rather like the yolk in a raw egg. And as most of the movement is from front to back, it gets damaged here and here as it knocks against the skull. And research published last week shows that over half the boxers given brain scans were damaged. This scan, or cross-section, is through an undamaged brain. This one here is a boxer's brain, and those dark areas mean that brain cells have died. Once lost, they're lost forever, because brain tissue is so specialised it can't regenerate like skin and bone. That sort of damage makes boxers punch-drunk, a permanent condition known medically as dementia pugilistica. All this has led to a new campaign to ban boxing, which has already happened in countries like Sweden and Norway. In Britain, however, the only gesture from the Boxing Board of Control has been to reduce all title fights from 15 to 12 rounds, as if that would protect professionals from prolonged battering. London doctors are now saying that isn't enough, and that even amateurs or boys who just box at school could also be in danger. During recent research, they measured an enzyme, CKBB, found in high concentrations in the brain, but normally undetectable in the blood. The brain has a generous blood supply, but those vessels are quite separate from the nervous tissue of the brain. There's thought to be a blood-brain barrier, just as the plumbing at home has to be separate from the electrical wiring. The star-shaped cells in the brain, called astrocytes, which produce the enzyme, are close to blood vessels, and the scientists have discovered that boxing causes the enzyme to leak out of the cells and into the bloodstream. Look at the enzyme levels they found in the blood of 4 boxers. The first, after 19 blows to the head, was found to have an abnormal level of the enzyme. Another, after 38 blows, had a 50% increase. 53 blows, and it was up 100%. And after a technical knockout, it was up 300%. And in each case, this was after only 3 3-minute rounds of amateur boxing. If punches do break down the blood-brain barrier in this way, it's also possible that harmful substances from which the brain's normally protected might get through the barrier in the other direction, contributing to brain damage. The doctors behind this preliminary study believe all blows to the head should now be banned. Boxing fans might disagree, but even the quick-witted Muhammad Ali admitted this week that he could have brain damage, giving more ammunition to those who say it's surely not a sport to hit someone here, the most vital and fragile part of the body.
What a fortuitous segment to have, Mark. A segment about boxing, when it turns out that the next part in my story of Mr. T happens to involve boxing. Who'd have thought that, Mark? Who'd have thought that? So you may remember Mr. T had just won his second final of America's Toughest Bouncer in a boxing match, which he won in 54 seconds. And at home, watching this was none other than Mr. Sylvester Stallone, Mark, who, sly to his friends, And Sylvester Stallone was obviously in the process of putting together Rocky 3. Does everyone know that Stallone wrote all the Rocky films as well as being in them? I don't know whether
I think so. Well, that's what he won the Oscar for.
Yeah,
wasn't it,
yeah.
Yeah, like I think it is. I think it's one of those things that you forget and then you remind and you go like, oh yeah. Especially that first one. Like it is really well written.
Yeah.
Maybe more and more cocaine came in as the series went on.
But he's watching this, and so there's a pre-match interview with Mr. T before he went and duffed this bloke up in seconds. And Mr. T said, "I just feel sorry for the guy who I have to box. I just feel real sorry for him." Right? And Sly went, "This is the man. This is the man I want to play Clubber Lang in Rocky 3. He's clearly rock hard. He's frightening, and he's got the gift of the gab. But I just want to punch up what he said there.
Yeah.
I think I can improve it slightly, and we can use it in Rocky 3. And so he changed it to, of course, this.
No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool, and I will destroy any man who tries to take what I got."
What's your prediction for the fight then?
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
I love that bit. That bit where he looks directly in the camera.
At the camera, yeah.
Pain.
I totally agree with you.
Genuinely terrifying. And I know he's not the greatest actor in any subsequent things he was in, the A-Team or anything like that. I think he's genuinely brilliant in Rocky 3. He's playing the role he's playing. He's born to play that role.
Well, he's playing Mr. T in everything he does other than that role, right?
Yes.
In that role, he's actually playing Clubber Lang.
Yeah, he's playing a nasty. He's basically playing what if Muhammad Ali was evil. Really, it's essentially what he's doing. And he did.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with him. Obviously, he was friends with Muhammad Ali. He hung around with him a lot. And Mr. T said he did base his performance on Muhammad Ali partially. And he said Muhammad Ali had given him this piece of advice earlier in life, and he'd said the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So you should always go out there, make noise about yourself, and be big and loud. And obviously, that there's a bit where Clubber Lang calls out Rocky for a fight, even though they're not meant to be matched up. And because he calls Rocky out, they end up having a fight. And that's based on Muhammad Ali calling out Sonny Liston back in 1964. It's like a homage to that whole thing. One thing to remember, though, Mark, is everyone remembers the phrase "I pity the fool." Mr. T never said it in the A-Team. Everyone thinks he says it in the A-Team. He only says it in Rocky 3. He never says it in the A-Team ever. He calls Murdoch a crazy fool, and he calls lots of people sucker, but he never says "I pity the fool" in the A-Team. He only ever says it in Rocky 3. So yeah, top fact there, Mark. But what I am basically saying is that Mr. T should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars that year. That's essentially my argument.
Okay.
But on to Punch Drunkness, Mark. Isn't your favourite Paul Thomas Anderson film?
PTA. Punch Drunk Love?
But it's not what's it called again? What's that phrase?
Dementia
Pugilistica Love. Yeah. Dementia Pugilistica Love.
That was a lovely joke, Russ, that only I would have got when you put those names. You seem very proud. I knew you were very proud of that joke. I didn't go see Punch Drunk Love when it came out in the cinema, Russ. Why was that? Can you remember? What did you take me to see instead?
No, what was it? Daredevil?
Yeah, you told me to see Daredevil instead, yeah. In the Sheffield Hallam Odeon or something like that, and I remember thinking like just stewing, just angry that we were watching Daredevil and we could have been watching Punch Drunk Love.
I'll stick by it, Mark. You've watched Punch Drunk Love multiple times since then, haven't you?
I have.
Have you watched Daredevil ever since then?
Do you know, Ross, I haven't?
No, so that means if I'd not taken you to see it then, you would never have seen it. So it's important.
God, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
God, you're not the hero I wanted, but you're the hero I got, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is classic medical section with
Judith.
Good old Judith. Slightly overly long, I would say, as these things usually are. I mean, I do think it's it's an important subject matter. It's one of those things where you think, yeah, obviously, like. This is dangerous. This is a bad thing that people.
Yeah.
But there's too much money in it, isn't there? Is that what it is? There's just too much money in it. I would have thought.
Well, I mean, the fix is in, right? I mean, the very first thing we're told at the beginning of the segment is that the American Medical Association was meeting at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas in order to decide whether boxing was safe or not to continue. You think, I'm sorry, the fix is in.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, it's all about money. The whole thing is bent. Actually, it's not even that. It's not even like legitimate money. It's about fraud, basically. Oh no, I shouldn't probably allegedly.
Well, you don't want the 1970s mafia after you.
I don't. I really don't, Russ. No, they're
Don
badass.
King hammering on your door. Actually, I was surprised by how many medical conferences there are at Caesar's Palace, Mark.
Really?
I did check.
You looked it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
This year alone, at Caesar's Palace, are meeting in separate meetings.
Okay.
The American Medical Billing Association. That's got to be. They've got to be absolute bastards, haven't they?
They must be.
They're
they
the
must
worst
be the
people in
worst
the world.
people. Yeah, absolutely.
The American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine, the North Carolina Osteopathic Medical Association, American Medical Group Association, American Association of Medical Care Nurses, American Osteopathic Association, National Association of Managed Care Physicians, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the Armenian American Medical Society are all meeting in Caesar's Palace this year at some point or other.
Oh, I bet they are. Dirty.
Well, I don't know what it's about Caesar's Palace that draws in the medical crowd. I don't know.
But specifically the American Academies and the American Association. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they've got really particularly clean toilets.
Or maybe it's they were all American something or another, weren't they? So maybe it's just that Caesar's Palace is Bagsy the earliest part of the alphabet in the list of conferences. Yeah.
Actually, maybe
the Zoological Society of America has to go to Wyatt's.
Yeah, I was going to say, is Caesar's Palace the top of the alphabet in the number?
I think so. I can't think of another one, can you?
No, you're right.
Because Camelot is gone.
Yeah. That's probably it, Mark. Well done.
Yeah.
Love it when we work stuff out.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Satisfying.
Yeah.
Also, I love it when there's no one here to tell us we're wrong.
I also love it when a plan comes together, but that's
what's next?
So,
damn, that would have been a good segue.
So basically, Judith's saying that she's got this nice little model thing, isn't she, with a half a head with a brain inside it, which she gives a little punch, and then he says the brain wobbles around inside it like a yolk inside an egg,
which is
a weird comparison, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, every time I've punched an egg, it's not really made the yolk.
It stayed intact. Yeah, very rare to see an egg broke in an egg. I mean, sorry, Judith, I'm not going to go overboard.
There's some footage of actual boxing going on, and she's talking about how basically they can do tests, and the more people get punched, the higher this level of this enzyme in their brains, which shows that they're damaging their brains is. Oh, she also mentions that recently there was somebody who died, didn't she? She said there's a boxer that died.
Yes.
I did look into that. She calls him Duk Koo Kim. Wikipedia calls him Kim Duk Koo. I don't know which way round. I can never.
I'd say no. It'll be Kim Duk Koo because I think since this was shown, we would now recognise that the surname goes first.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Which does sound a bit like Timbuktu, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But apparently he was a really good boxer. He had a 17 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss record. But he'd never fought in America before. He'd only fought in Korea and had 1 match in the Philippines. And he'd never gone the full length of a match. The full 50, at the time it was 15 rounds, as I think Judith says.
Yeah.
He'd never gone a full 15 rounds. So he was up against this American called Ray Mancini, or Mancini.
Americans would say Mancini, don't they?
And they ended up fighting, and they got to the 14th round, and Mancini absolutely cracked him one. Got an absolute proper right-hander on him, and knocked him down. And he did manage to get up a bit, but then it was clear that he was completely legs were jelly. So the referee called off the match. I was going to ask you, why do you think the referees wear bow ties? Do you think it's to stop people hitting them? Because you'd never hit a man with a bow tie, would you?
No, you wouldn't. Well, it depends on what they say to you, right? I liked your idea that it just makes them look like the complete opposite of people who would get in a fight. But the irony, of course, is like they tend to be quite stacked, right? So they're always wearing those kind of like skin tight shirts so you can see their arms. So they actually just look like boxers trying to disguise themselves these days.
Anyway, a few minutes after the fight was called off, Kim collapsed, and they took him to hospital. It turned out he had a subdural hematoma, and there was 100 millilitres of blood just sloshing around inside his skull, which is obviously, which is not
ideal.
Not ideal. So they gave him some emergency surgery, but then he ended up dying. 5 days later, he died. And the neurosurgeon said that it was literally that one punch that killed him. It was just such a powerful punch that got him so hard. That was the one that killed him. Ray Mancini felt really bad about this. Obviously, he would. Even if you are a professional boxer, you don't want to go around killing people.
No.
Yeah, so he was never really the same again. He lost his title a few months later. But then that's not even the most tragic thing. Old Kim's mum, 3 months later, because she'd flown over to be by his bedside. She couldn't take the tragedy, so she committed suicide 3 months later by drinking a bottle of pesticide.
Oh,
right. I mean, what a way to go, Jesus! And then in July 1983. The referee of the match, Richard Green, blew his own brains out with a shotgun.
Jeez.
So, yeah, it's got to be one of the most tragic boxing matches in history, for Fallout. So anyway, as Judith says, they had these meetings, the boxing association, the medical people and all that. And they came up with some permanent changes to boxing. So refs were told to be more vigilant and proactive in stopping matches. They brought in the idea of the standing 8 count. Do you know about that? Where they can say that a boxer's been knocked down even if he's standing up, if it looks like he's basically a dead man on his legs, sort of thing.
Yeah.
If somebody had been knocked out, they were then suspended from boxing again for 45 days to allow their head to recover. Obviously, famously reduced the rounds from 15 to 12.
Yeah.
And they had much more thorough medicals as well before fights. So prior to this, they would just have a blood pressure test and that's basically it. Whereas after that, they would have all everything tested, cardiograms and lung capacity and all stuff like that. So yeah, so it did bring about some permanent changes. So I guess his death wasn't in vain, Mark.
That's really sad. Though it's really tragic that it kind of escalated out that way.
Yeah, but dementia pugilistica was coined in the 1920s. They didn't really use it, but by the 1980s, they weren't really using it. The proper term that they use these days is chronic traumatic encephalopathy. And they did a study in America in 2019.
Oh, CTE. I've heard of CTE, yeah.
2019, they did a study of the general population, and they found that 6% of people have it. But that's down to a lot of Americans doing contact sports.
Yeah, they do a lot of American football.
So they found, they studied NFL players, and they found that 87% of NFL players have it, which is more than boxers. As Judith says, in boxers it's only 50%. So I mean, I don't know what those NFL players are doing. But symptoms, typically appear between 8 and 14 years after retirement.
Do you know what it is, Russ? Sorry, because in the NFL, they lead with their head. A lot of them lead with their head is a weapon that they're actually charging at other people with. Whereas in boxing, actually, to be fair to them, they try and protect their heads, don't they?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and the symptoms are Parkinson's, ataxia, and dysarthria, which are all basically things that are a bit like Parkinson's. Tremor, all things to do with your motor and your speech and all things like that. And it can also cause negative personality changes in some people. And there's been cases of people who have got the condition who've committed murders, who probably wouldn't have committed the murder if they didn't have the condition, because it's changed their personality so much. But the other thing we noticed in this piece, Mark, I think you commented on it, was that Judith says that boxing is banned in Sweden and Norway.
Yeah.
Would you like to guess whether it is still banned in Sweden and Norway?
My gut instinct says no. I don't know why, but No,
it's not. Too much money in it, Mark. Too much money in it.
Yeah.
Even the Scandinavians don't, can't resist a bit of bunts. So So it's banned in Sweden between 1970 and 2006. In Norway, it was between 1982 and 2014. Other countries that have banned it are Iceland, which still maintains the ban. I wouldn't be thumped by an Icelandic bloke. They don't always win world's strongest men, don't they? So, I mean...
That's true, they do. Right,
you knock your head clean off. It's probably safe for everybody. Cuba had a ban between 1962 and 2022. And Cuba, yeah.
They're fantastic at amateur boxing.
Well, professional boxing was banned until 2022.
Oh, professional boxing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I get you. Yeah, but that's it's socialist, isn't it? So.
And currently, North Korea and Iran both have bans. The Axis of Evil. If you want to become a professional boxer, do not join the Axis of Evil, Mark. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
You never hear people saying the Axis of Evil anymore, do you?
I don't know.
Is it because people have decided they're not? Well, I mean, Iran's not really regarded as evil anymore, is it?
It's
everyone's favourite young upstart.
Actually seem. I was about to say, yeah, exactly, yeah, young upstart, 7,000-year-old upstart. These days, they seem like some of their actions seem to be justified. I don't know.
Yeah.
What a world we live in, Russ. Hey, what a great time to be alive.
Interesting times, Mark.
Aren't we lucky to live through them? What a pleasure. Yeah. All right. Okay. And obviously here in Britain, everyone's at it.
Absolutely. I'd never want to do it though. I just don't.
No.
I don't like the idea of hitting somebody, and I particularly don't like the idea of being hit.
No.
Yeah.
Unusually for you, you don't even like the idea of foxy boxing.
I did wonder though, what would boxing be like if it was reversed, so that the one thing you weren't allowed to hit was people's heads. So you're allowed to hit anywhere on the body apart from the head.
Yeah.
You'd just be smashing at the groin constantly, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But like, I also feel like boxing bouts would go on much longer, wouldn't they? if people were just trying to punch each other's groins, it just doesn't feel like it would be as entertaining. Not that I find boxing terribly entertaining, but yeah,
could be.
Actually, you made an observation about the idea, like, oh, if it was invented today, so if it was invented today, it wouldn't be allowed, and then you remember UFC. I think I was in Poland in a stag do, and there was a UFC bout on in a pub that had attracted a lot of people, and we went in just to have a drink, and I found it one of the most unpleasant and depressing things I've had the displeasure to endure. And it wasn't even like the boxing. It's like, I get the skill, I really do. Like I can understand how it's skillful and stuff like that. It was the rabid intensity of the people watching that I found unpleasant.
Yeah, it's definitely got more. It's got more of the air of like a dog fight or a cockfight than it has a sport.
Yeah, and I look back at it now, and it's one of those things where, like, oh yeah, this is toxic masculinity, isn't it? How many incels are in this room?
Yeah, they are actually. They are all into it, aren't they? All of the famous. Not
incels, but like the
heroes
people who peddle. They're heroes. Yeah, incels heroes.
Well, and of course. Isn't there going to be one on Trump's lawn soon?
There is, Russ, because as somebody said, do you remember years and years ago when Donald Trump had the audacity to slag off Zelensky for not wearing a suit because it diminished the White House.
Office.
Yeah, it diminished the office and the building of the White House, and then somebody had like a picture of like the UFC stuff being built and the entirely demolished East Wing and the demolished and patioed over Rose Garden. And I think they likened it to, it's like when a crack-addicted family moves in. And do you know what it actually reminded me of? Do you remember the Losso Lout?
Oh, yeah, Michael Carroll.
Michael Carroll, I can't remember his name. Yeah, it's like when he moved into his mansion, and he was just circling his garden. It was
just built a bagger racing track at a pub, didn't he?
Yeah. Anyway,
fair play.
Obviously, if any listeners enjoy UFC, that's because you're classy, and I get that. But the people I had to watch it with were not my types.
No, I mean, I'd rather just watch Rocky 3 and 4.
Yeah.
At £23 million apiece, the Boeing 757 represents British Airways' heaviest investment ever in a new aircraft. So with 17 on order, just what is our national airline getting for our money? A thoroughly vetted aircraft, yes. This punishing trial is called Minimum Unstick. With its nose in the air and its specially protected tail scraping along the runway, this is the heart-stopping way to discover minimum takeoff speed. But such tests are to be expected anyway. A more powerful attraction for British Airways is Boeing's claim of a large increase in fuel saving over the Trident 3 it's going to replace. On the 757, much has been made of new lightweight materials. The rudder, for instance, is made of a specially developed plastic. But the most radical change is in the aircraft's cockpit. To see why, look first at the plane's popular predecessor, the three-engine Boeing 727. Inside its cockpit, a flight engineer sits at a complex bank of dials. And in front of the two pilots are yet more instruments, displaying essential information about the engine and all the other systems. It's a lot for even a highly trained pilot to monitor efficiently. The new 757 has a cockpit which is much simpler for the pilot. Electronic displays have replaced many of the conventional dials, and behind the pilots, there's no flight engineer. Just a maintenance panel which needs no attention in the air. The flight engineer and his instruments have been replaced by a hidden computer, which constantly searches for faults, and if they arise, displays them alongside engine information right in front of the pilot. Look again at the conventional 727 on takeoff.
At maximum thrust.
In this cockpit, the pilot has to keep his eyes on dozens of different dials.
Okay.
Now, the new 757 starts its takeoff run. The throttles automatically provide maximum thrust. It's no longer necessary to scan the vast array of instruments, so the pilot can concentrate on guiding the aircraft safely down the runway. The benefits of the electronic cockpit can be even greater in flight. Again, compare it with the conventional 727. There, the flight engineer's job is to check constantly for faults. But with such a mass of dials, it's always possible that his attention will be distracted from a slowly developing fault at the bottom of the panel. In this case, a gradual leak of essential hydraulic fluid. The minor fault continues unnoticed. It develops and turns into a major problem.
Bill, we've got an A-system hydraulic leak. Okay, the brakes down. Okay, control wheel neutral. Okay, A-system hydraulic pump's coming on. System supply switch is off. Checklist.
But on the new 757, that onboard computer is constantly on the lookout for potential problems. And as soon as it finds one, it'll be flashed up on the normally dark part of the screen, right in front of the pilot. That same hydraulic leak starts, but this time the pilot notices it immediately. He can take action to prevent it from developing any further. And everything is quickly back to normal. British Airways takes delivery of its very first 757 next week. For its sleekness and for its weight and fuel saving, Boeing have dubbed the 757 the lean machine. Let's hope its years ahead are anything but lean.
Now, Mark, I was starting to think that the this episode, because obviously we just chose this episode because it was the closest episode to the A-Team coming out. But don't you think it's weird that there was two segments so fitting? So obviously we just had the boxing segment, which perfectly fits into Mr. T's appearance in Rocky 3. And then immediately after that, we have a segment about British Airways, aka BA, and it's a subject about aeroplanes, something which Mr. T's character BA Baracus famously did not like getting on.
Yep. No.
Is that spooky? Is that spooky?
You know me, normally I would poo-poo your nonsense. I didn't spot any of this, and it was only when I did my notes, about a week ago, and I think I looked up when I was in Spain on Monday, and I thought, I wonder if Russell's done his notes. And obviously I read them in one go, and it was only when you were pointing these out that I felt a little bit frightened. I felt a little bit scared, Russ, because it was weird. And actually, the BA thing is just unreal. What are the chances of an advert for British Airways coming on Tomorrow's World?
Hey, Exactly. And I mean, it is an advert.
Absolutely.
It's just an advert, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's 100% an advert. Yeah, no, yeah, genuinely, it's a really good observation, and I'm glad you came up with this wheeze, because I don't know what else we talk about. Let's talk about the segments.
Yeah. The segments aren't very interesting this episode, are they?
No.
But what is
No, not this
interesting,
one.
Mark, thankfully, is that I can now tell you a little bit about the A-Team, which obviously,
go on then.
Which is Mr. T's obviously his most famous role, the role that made him worldwide famous, I would say. So there was the president of NBC Entertainment was a man called Brandon Tartikoff. Have you ever heard of Brandon Tartikoff?
No.
Absolutely,
That's a great name.
He's absolutely legendary in the world of television. So he's essentially like the controller of BBC One would be over here. He's the controller of NBC, but of the entertainment division. I don't know whether they always do this, but rather than I always assume that if you are like in charge, you wait for people to come to you with programs and go, look, I've got this idea for a program. What do you think? Pitch ideas to you. But Brandon Tartikoff would come up with the ideas himself and then go to the writers. So and then go, look, I've had this great idea. Can you write a program based on my idea? Right. He didn't do that all the time, but he did do it with some very big programs. One of which is the A-Team. He came up with the idea of the A-Team because he wanted a program to put Mr. T in. So he went up to Stephen J. Cannell of pipe-smoking typewriter fame and Frank Lupo, and he said to them, I want a combination of the Dirty Dozen, Mission Impossible, the Magnificent Seven, Mad Max, Hill Street Blues, with Mr. T driving the car. That
was the pitch.
Yeah. So the A-Team is literally a vehicle for Mr. T. But just to show how important Brandon Tartikoff is to TV history, I'll just list some of the program, a handful of the programs that you may have heard of that he was involved in creating: Hill Street Blues, LA Law, Law and Order, Alf, The Cosby Show, Cheers, Seinfeld, The Golden Girls, Miami Vice, Knight Rider, The A-Team, Saved by the Bell, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, V, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Bloody hell.
Look at that.
That's incredible. That's basically some people's entire personality.
Yeah. So because apparently before he started working at NBC, became head of it, it was in the real doldrums. Like it was, his ratings were in the pits. He turns up, gets all of this stuff made, and NBC becomes the absolute top channel in America completely. But what I think is interesting about the A-Team is obviously all these A-Team, Knight Ride, all of that. We always think of it as Saturday afternoon children's program, don't we?
Yeah.
Because that's when it was on. The ITV put it on Saturday afternoons. Because when you watch it, especially now, if you watch it as an adult, it is so obviously a children's program. It's incredibly childish. So I always find it astonishing that in America it was primetime adult television. It was on at mostly on at 8 p.m, sometimes 9 p.m. It never strayed from 8 or 9 p.m. when it was shown. So from American perspective, it was adult programming, which I just think how much sort of disregard for your audience do you have to think that the A-Team is obviously the British TV schedulers must have looked at it and gone, we can't put this out in the evening, it's far too childish. We'll put it on Saturday afternoon.
This can't compete with Howard's Way.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was a global smash. There's certain countries where it became particularly hugely popular. Indonesia was one. Italy, mega popular in Italy. France is a great example because being the French, not only did they show the A-Team, they made it more French. So what I have here, Mark, is the French version of the A-Team opening titles.
No.
And they changed the name to Agency to Risques Génériques. I don't know what that means. Can't speak French. Not going to look it up. And what they've done with the music is quite interesting. It's a bit of an earworm. It's been stuck in my head ever since listening to it.
Wow. Okay.
Here we
Gosh,
go.
I'm really excited. Go on then. I'm going to maximise the screen.
Accusés d'un vol qu'ils n'ont pas commis, n'ayant aucun moyen d'en faire la preuve, ils fuient sans cesse devant leurs poursuivants. Pour subsister, ils emploient leurs compétences. Quand la loi ne peut plus rien pour vous, il vous reste un recours, un seul, l'agence tout risque.
La
I really, really don't like that.
It's so funny, isn't it? They've
so
managed
uncanny.
to sanitize that music in such a way that it's weirdly catchy. Like I don't even know what they're singing, but I've got it playing in my head already.
Oh, that's made me furious. Honestly, it's like,
and it's the tune, but it's not quite the tune.
That's what's upsetting.
And they've lost obviously the best bit of the A Team is the guitar solo.
Yeah, I just
completely binned that off.
Oh my god, it's just like, they've made it so weak.
Do you think that's the worst thing the French have ever done?
Oh, Russ.
I
mean, it's up there. It's up there. Yeah.
It sounds like because there was that spate of French language cartoons that were translated into English when we were kids, wasn't there? Like Willy Fogg and D'Artagnan and all that. And I don't know. It sounds like it was made by some of the people that did the theme tune to one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got that sort of quality.
But you have the theme tune.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah, there's no need to add words.
It doesn't have lyrics.
There's no need to
you don't have to add words, but if you really, really want to, just do it over the Oh my god! Because the annoying thing is, like, they have the original theme tune, and then they sloppily cut into their horrible karaoke version. I'm Russ. I'm livid. I'm actually livid.
And for some
I was
reason,
really excited.
For some reason, they changed B.A. Baracus' name to Barracuda as well.
Barracuda,
I don't know why.
Which I don't know why. I don't hate that.
No,
I
that's
don't hate that. I quite like that.
Reasonable,
But yeah. I mean, B.A. Baracus doesn't mean anything. But...
No. Unless, I don't know, do you reckon Baracus is Latin for Barracuda? Could be, I never looked it up.
Oh, gosh.
But, Mark.
Yeah, sorry.
So, no.
Back to what we were talking about.
Well, no, not at all. Because I only discovered this today, and I was so excited to find this. So, it turns out that the country that went most mental for the A Team, above all other countries, is the Netherlands.
Really?
They went absolutely like doolally for it, and to the point where some Dutch TV company or wherever invited the A Team over to visit, right? Invites got sent over to America. George Peppard got his invite first, thought only he was invited and was going to come, and then he found out the others were invited, so turned it down. So in the end, because George Peppard's a bit of a twat, so in the end, Mr. T, Dwight Schultz and Dirk Benedict, the other three, they came over to visit the Netherlands, and it was absolute pandemonium. And luckily, someone filmed it, so I'm going to show you.
My God.
Look at these crowds.
Naar Nederland gekomen. Het zou iets anders uitpakken. B.A., Pace en Murdoch waren vergezeld van Steve Cannell, de geestelijke vader van het A-team. Ze waren met z'n vieren verbijsterd van het niet te stuiten enthousiasme dat al in Harderwijk begon.
Thank you for coming out to see us. We love you.
Yes, thank you very much.
We will continue to do our best on the show. Bring you good entertainment and laughter. Thank you so much. We love you.
De belangstelling was zo overweldigend dat het niet meer mogelijk was om het gehele ontvangstprogramma te beleven. Mede met het oog op de veiligheid van de duizenden fans. Eerder dan gepland moest de E-team helikopter voorzichtig vertrekken naar Friesland, waar in Sneek duizenden Friezen al enige uren stonden te wachten.
That's absolutely mad, Russ. Yeah.
So,
I was in a crowd of 1 million people quite recently. For Arsenal won the championship, and I was out with my wife and some friends and stuff like that. We didn't see them because there was 1 million people. It was like that. It looked like that.
yeah. It started like Woodstock, right? So
yeah.
So what's great about that? I don't know whether the great thing about Dutch is that you can, if you listen to
almost
it,
understand
you can almost understand it.
Yeah.
So at the end there, I don't know whether you picked it up, but basically what you said at the end there was something along the lines of, the crowd got so big, the authorities deemed it too dangerous, and they had to take the helicopter them out, and cut the visit short because it was considered a safety hazard, right? So it's literally like the last days of Saigon. The A team had to be choppered out of the melee. It's amazing, isn't it?
So also credit to the Netherlands for keeping the title A Team and not pissing about with the opening title
and
track.
giving them all their proper names as well. You know,
B.A. Murdoch in the face.
But I mean, all I'm saying, Mark, I think in conclusion, considering the A Team was a vehicle for Mr. T, and Mr. T was able to draw crowds like that, but basically Mr. T is at the time at least as popular as the Beatles. That's what I'm saying, Mark. You've never seen crowds like that since the Beatles, I'm saying.
Outside of football. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Anyway.
Yeah, all right. What are we going to say about the airplane?
Well, comes halfway through the programme. It's essentially an advert for the Boeing 757, isn't it?
It just is, right? Yeah, the BA have a new airplane. Come fly.
Oh, clearly BA have put together a...
The airline, not the character.
Yeah, BA would never put together a package advertising airplanes, would he?
Yeah.
He actually is. Yeah. Do you reckon? I wondered whether Stephen J. Cannell had a bad experience on British Airways, and that's why he named him BA and made him scared of flying.
Maybe.
But it's clearly some sort of promotional video for the new 757 that Tomorrow's World have just put on to show us the various new technology in it. It's got better autopilot, better warnings, automatic warning systems, and all of this. Airplane cockpits are like music studio mixing desks. You know, I just don't believe that all of those knobs and dials actually do anything. How can they possibly need that many knobs and dials?
They don't.
But anyway, the 757 has a slightly simplified interface as far as it looks. But it was making me think, like test pilots. Do you reckon being a test pilot of a airliner is more hairy than being a test pilot of a fighter jet or like a military jet? Or do you reckon it's easier? Because I just reckon those airliners, just getting in an airliner and trying to do stuff with it at the maximum of its capabilities.
Yeah,
it's got to be a bit hairy, isn't it?
So my suspicion would be that a commercial airliner being tested is probably safer than an experimental fighter jet, but the test pilots of a commercial airline don't have ejector seats.
Yes.
So my feeling is it probably feels safer, but could be more dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Does that circumspect answer help you, Russ?
Well done. Yeah. I would say that.
Yeah.
So obviously I then said I checked to see whether anybody's on a loop in an airliner. That was my first port of call.
Can they do loop-the-loops, or do they just stall?
Apparently, in theory, they have the aerodynamics and power they have means that they could do a loop-the-loop. The problem is that it's the forces involved that they're structurally basically their wings would rip off. Is the general consensus? When they got about halfway through the
doesn't
manoeuvre,
seem like something you want to happen.
The wings would rip off. So, although they have done it, the biggest plane they've done it in, and they did it at one of the British air shows. Yeah. You know the big military transport planes that are almost the same size as an airliner. They did do a loop-the-loop in one of them at one of those shows once, which must have been pretty impressive to watch.
That was kind of cool.
But what you can do in an airliner, which is considered perfectly safe, is you can do a barrel roll. And I found...
Ooh, go on then.
So the Boeing 707... which was the first of Boeing's proper, of these modern jet airliners. Their test pilot, Tex Johnson, when they were trying to sell it, he decided to show it off by doing a barrel roll in front of them.
The test flying program for the 707 lasted 4 years. Tex Johnson had his own way of thrilling airline executives with demonstration flights.
IATA, the International Air Transport Association, which includes all the airlines of the world, had assembled in Seattle for their annual convention. And Boeing just happened to have a prototype airplane that was going to shrink the world by a factor of 2. But I've sold fighters and commercial airplanes, and you demonstrate them to impress people what they're capable of. And I knew the prototype, and there's one maneuver that you can do with no hazard whatsoever. I decided that I would do a roll to impress the people. So I came across and did a chandelle. One of my test engineers happened to have his camera with him, and he snapped a picture, which is famous today, with the airplane on its back, and the engines up on top of the wing, and the Lake Washington below. I was called to Mr. Allen's office Monday morning, and Mr. Allen asked me what I thought I was doing, and I said I was selling airplanes. And explained it's a 1G maneuver, and it's absolutely non-hazardous, but it's very impressive. And his comment was, you know that now, we know that, but just don't do it anymore. So, it was fine.
Absolutely non-hazardous, Mark. But strangely, I don't think anybody's ever made an airliner do a barrel roll ever since. So certainly not deliberately. Possibly in an emergency situation they might have done it. Obviously, there's that film Flight with Denzel Washington where he does it, doesn't he?
Yes.
While drunk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very impressed. But I liked his calm demeanour and the fact that he was absolutely not hazardous in any way whatsoever. But I imagine it's absolutely terrifying being on board that. So the 757, Mark, turns out it's one of the pilots' favourite ever aeroplanes. They love the 757.
Okay.
It's considered an absolute classic amongst pilots because in terms of power to weight ratio, he had really, really powerful engines compared to how big it was. They say it's like the equivalent of a muscle car or a sports car, but as an airliner. So obviously that's very exciting to the pilots. So you could get off a runway really quickly and get up in the sky really quickly and all of this. But apparently, I mean, not so great for the passengers. It was quite cramped and uncomfortable, and presumably quite frightening if the pilot's just zooming around in it like it's a like they're in a sports car. So actually, Boeing didn't actually sell very many of them. They sold just over 1,000 of them, which is almost half as many as their predecessor, which we see in this piece, the 727, which was the one with the three engines at the back, which I always think looks cool, the three engines at the back, doesn't it? That always looks good. Only 10 of them ever crashed, so that's good. That's pretty good. That's a good record.
Out of 1,000?
Out of 1,000, only 10 of them ever suffered what's called hull loss, which is a euphemism for some sort of catastrophic crash. You noticed that this one that they're using in this piece just says British, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't say British Airways. This is just British.
Yeah, so apparently there was a short-lived period in 1980 to 1984. They decided to bin off the airways from the side of it because in America they just call it American or United or whatever, their airlines, and they just refuse to refer to British Airways as British. They used to call it British. They'd not thought of saying BA back then, presumably because they'd not seen the A-Team yet. So the British Airways decided to go along with it and just started printing British on the side of their planes, and then they stopped doing that again after a while. So this piece is called the Dover Castle.
Dover Castle, yeah.
Which you thought might be
cocking a snook at all the ferry companies. Yeah, that's what I thought it might have been.
All those hovercraft companies going to the wall.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that was sold to DHL in 2000, who then used it for another 17 years. It was scrapped in 2017, so it had a good old innings.
Bloody hell, okay.
I don't know what sort of mileage they must have on their clocks by the end of that. It's got to be a lot, isn't it? Yeah. But there's not much to say about the piece, really. It's just new plane does new stuff.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where, like, it's clearly never... actually, because you and I both had the same thought, I think, which is that the juxtaposition between the 727 and the 757 is basically 727 required 3 people to fly it, one of whom was just a flight engineer who didn't look out the window but was positioned to the side and had their own little kind of board of gauges and dials and stuff like that. And in this example, the person they do have showing what the job was kiboshes it so much that condemns the flight to... What was it? Hull lossage, I'm assuming.
Hull loss, yeah.
And it's a bit like, well, if he's an example of what old flight engineers are like, he can absolutely see why they did away with them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely useless.
Yeah, that, and actually
Menace.
it did remind me that I did a 727, they had the 3 engines, 2 right at the back, which I think looks dated but does look kind of cool. And it reminded me, they also, I did have to look this up to make sure I wasn't wrong. You used to be able to get into the plane via a door at the back of the plane that used to come down from the tail. So you'd walk in,
well, like a cargo
in the
plane.
middle of the 3. Yeah.
Ah.
And I did that once. When I was younger, so it must be the 80s. I definitely walked out of a plane through the back door, which came down.
Tradesman's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is one of those things where like, oh, I'm glad I did that. That was really cool because it was a strong memory. It's like, wow, this is weird. It was also one of those things you're like, that doesn't seem safe. Seems unwise, right?
Seems fun though.
Oh yeah, it was fun, but the fact that you can't do it anymore does imply that maybe it wasn't the best idea.
Well, because people end up trying to recreate the living daylights and hanging out the back of it with bombs and cocaine and whatever else on a big net, kicking Afghans in the face. But
Mujahideen.
Oh yeah.
Because it was dedicated to the...
No. Richard Hardeen are the goodies in it, but it's Rambo 3 that's dedicated to the Mujahideen, to the brave fighters of the Mujahideen.
The brave, that's right,
yeah. Great bunch of lads, Mark, I've heard, the Mujahideen.
GBOL, Russ.
I mean, there's nothing else to say about this piece, is there, Mark?
All right, let's move on then.
Let's move on.
Be nice if you could get a TV flat enough to hang like a picture. But we've cheated here because the TV set supplying this picture still has to be bulky enough to house its main component, the good old cathode ray tube. The picture is produced by an electron gun firing electrons directly onto the back of a phosphor screen. The gun has to be set back this far in order to allow the electrons to be deflected enough to scan the whole screen. So, how have they managed to make this new ultra slimline television? Well, surprisingly, it's just a clever miniature version of the cathode ray tube. But on the new tube, the electron gun is at the side, making the whole thing much flatter. Here, the negatively charged electrons from the gun are bent downwards by the attraction of the positively charged phosphor screen. But unlike the old type, you see the picture on the same side of the screen that the electrons hit, almost like a film projector. And because you don't have to watch through the thickness of the phosphorus screen, you can get just as bright a picture, but using much less power. Cathode ray tubes are notoriously greedy for power, but the pen torch batteries in here will happily run this television continuously for 3 hours. So, let's see if we can find out what's on. Here we have BBC Two, a slightly snowy picture here. Oh no, it's not. It's the Antarctic. Yes, plenty of snow. We'll move down to Channel 4, which is giving us a slightly better picture. And hopefully down here on BBC One, surprise, surprise, we have Tomorrow's World showing you the latest in flat-screen television. Or rather, it's a picture of a picture of a picture of a flat-screen TV. But there's another approach to flat-screen TV. This game uses a liquid crystal display to make a picture. In this case, it's motorcycle racing. Each motorcycle is a separate, specially shaped liquid crystal cell. And by switching them on and off quickly, you get an impression of movement. Liquid crystal displays are very thin and use much less power than the cathode ray tubes. So a lot of work has gone on improving them for flat television. This oscilloscope, for instance, uses a cathode ray tube similar to a TV set to show a wave pattern of my voice. But that hefty tube can now be replaced by this liquid crystal display. So now this new oscilloscope can be battery powered so that the waveforms can be measured literally in the field. The display is made up of thousands of tiny squares. Each square is a liquid crystal cell that can appear either black or white. Here's a model of one cell. A dark dye is added to the long liquid crystal molecules, so that in their normal random state, they'd form a dark mass to make the cell look black. But apply a voltage across the cell, and the electric field causes the molecules to line up. Light can now pass into the cell. It's reflected off a white background, and the cell looks white. Pack enough tiny cells onto a screen, and you have that schoolboy dream, the wristwatch TV. But before you get too excited, let me tell you that this is only the screen. This wire here leads up into here for a power pack with all the circuitry inside it. And if you wanted to listen to what was on, which is always a bit of a help, then you'd need a set of headphones. It's Japanese, of course. And at the moment, this prototype will only pick up their TV system. So here's some film taken in Japan of it working. As you can see, the picture quality isn't that good. That's because the liquid crystals don't give out light. They only reflect it. They can seem dull in comparison to the cathode ray tube. So this looks rather more practical for the immediate future. But there's no doubt that liquid crystals, with their minute power consumption and wafer-thin construction, will continue to be improved for television.
And what's interesting about this bit, Mark, is that I think it's a very key piece of technology.
Yes.
Flat screen televisions. We've mentioned this before, haven't we? One of the great technological dividers in our lifetimes has been the flat screen monitor on television. You can date a film or television program either side of a line due to the presence of either flat screen or CRT televisions, even when the fashions are identical in everything any other way. I think it's a better way of doing it than phones. Because I don't know. It's more gradation with phones, but it's just so much more obvious when you just somebody walks in an office and it's just full of CRTs.
It's a telltale marker.
Yeah.
Of when something is in a way that actually I think people could envisage. The weird thing about phones is that I think people assume phones would get smaller and smaller and smaller until they were like the size of like a penny or something like that. When the reality is actually they become boring. But the idea of like phones being something small or whatever, or definitely, but the CRT flat screen, that absolutely is. I think you and I discussed this probably when drunk, but I can't think of anything set in the past that predicts the future that has flat screens on. Possibly because you just couldn't do it. Like you just couldn't you couldn't fake it.
No, you couldn't fake it.
No. So it was all CRT. So everything set in the future was CRT. So yeah, I think absolutely, yeah. It's a telltale marker of when something is set. Yeah. Or something not was set, but when something was made.
But the interesting about this piece is that I think because everything he wants to do is he wants to actually physically show us something. Flat screen televisions of any appreciable size don't exist yet. So yeah, he opens with that bit where there's they've sort of faked it slightly by having what looks like a painting coming to life.
Yeah.
But then he says, well, actually, no, that's just a CRT.
Yeah. It's just built into the wall.
So what we're doing here is we're heralding something which is an incredibly prevalent and important piece of technology that we all use all the time now. But the way it's being demonstrated is by Macann showing us tiny little teeny tiny TVs. And it's actually, this piece is just about little tiny TVs, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tiny TV bit.
It's a tiny TV bit, which I mean, there's something. The thing about tiny TVs is I think they're very impressive. I mean, it must have been unbelievably impressive to see a TV on a watch in 1983. But then also equally utterly useless in a way as well, isn't it? Like, it's like, why would you want to watch television of that bad, of that poor quality? It's just something they did because they could, I guess it's a proof of concept, really, isn't it? Rather than anything practical.
Yeah, but like, even at the time, even as a kid, I think I recognised the idea of a tiny TV on your watch as being without purpose. Yeah. Just like, I don't know, it's difficult to explain, isn't it? It's like, but like, here's what it is. Actually, it was also kind of, I think, a kind of a cultural thing in the sense that the only people who would have been desperate to watch something in the 80s, like to the point where like you had to be in by a certain time, were kids.
Yeah.
Like, the idea that an adult was like, oh my god, it's 7:15, we got to be back in time to watch Blind Date. It's like, nope, you miss it. Like, you were just used to missing stuff, and it was gone.
Yeah.
Kids, however, is like, no, A-Team's on, I've got to be in by 5:45. And the idea that it's happening without you would have been so awful. Because even sports wasn't really, quite the same. Yeah, it's so pointless. Whereas, like, obviously now, if it weren't for smartphones, we probably would all have tiny TVs on our wrists.
Yeah. You're constantly being distracted by football on your phone.
Yeah.
Often when we're recording this.
Yeah. And we're going to record in a few weeks' time, and the World Cup's going to be on. Do you think it's not going to be on one of my screens? You're a fool if you think that's not the case. Yeah.
But I did wonder. Well, my first wonder was how tiny can you get a TV these days?
Yeah.
World's smallest television these days is made by a company called Tiny Circuits, and they make working television.
Close now.
Tiny Circuits. Yeah, they make televisions for dolls' houses, which work and have remote controls.
Wow.
I put one at the bottom of the.
That's one then. So that's real.
So where are
it? Almost looks like AI.
The one where there's fingers holding a tiny remote, pointing it like that thing. That is a genuine working television. Yeah. And the website boasts that it is roughly the size of a grape, quite a big grape, I would say, 26 by 24 by 22 millimeters. I don't know. Yeah, big grape. You get one of those for about 50 or 60 quid.
Gosh, I quite like the idea of getting one.
Yeah. But what Macann has got here, the thing that the first television he's demonstrating, which I think is the most usable bit of kit. He's getting a decent-ish image out of it because it's actually a tiny cathode ray TV, but it's clever because they've obviously the problem with cathode ray TVs is they have to be deep. But
yes,
the boffins at Sony have worked out that if you can actually put the tube the length of the thing and then bend,
it's pretty smart. Yeah,
bend the electrons around a corner. So actually, you don't have to have the depth. You could just have it in the height. So that's the Sony Watchman. Unsurprisingly, they call it the Watchman, which is a bit confusing because it's not on a watch, but you do watch it. I don't know what else you would call it. Lookman.
But then,
no.
I mean, the Walkman is not named after listening. It's named after the fact you can take it pause speed. So it's really the Sony Sit Man.
The Sony bump into things, man. Like, because you couldn't walk around and look at it. It's the FD210. It was the first one that they brought out anyway, and that's the first truly pocket-sized TV. There've been two televisions beforehand, which I've got images of here as well. Just below those images of Mr. T. So that first one, that's the first ever miniature television. That's a Panasonic. They built that in 1970, which I think is quite early for that. And then the one next to it.
Oh, look at the pen next to it. Yeah.
And the one next to it is made by Sinclair, old Sir Clive. Put that one together. He claimed that was a pocket. Well, you'd have to have a bloody big pocket to get that in. But as you can see, they're both suffering from the whole depth thing, which Sony managed to fix. So yeah, so this in Japan, this is 1982. 2.5-inch screen, but in Japan, these Watchmans were actually quite popular. They kept making them until year 2000, and they brought out 65 different models over those years. I get the impression that like quite often Sony just like actually don't care about making any money. They just like building technology. Do you know what I mean? Like that can't possibly the research and development costs and like retooling costs and all that. Of making completely new models, so making three different completely different models of miniature television per year for 20 years doesn't make any sense at all, does it?
No,
mad bastards, Mark, mad bastards. But obviously they were working on the cathode ray thing for a long time, and it was only when liquid crystals somebody worked out. Oh, you could do TV on liquid crystals, and that would be even better because they are very tiny. Because you put them in pocket calculators and wristwatches and things like that. So all you need to do is just get an improved. If you can improve the image, then you can get a TV display, and that's what the watch is based on.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I wondered how liquid crystals work. I think Macann does a not very good job of explaining it. So what I have with liquid, so it relies on polarized glass liquid crystals, Mark. So what you have is one sheet of polarized glass facing vertically, and then you have a layer of liquid crystals, and then you have a polarized glass which is horizontal. So if you put the two bits of glass over the top of each other, they would not let any light through. But the thing with liquid crystals is that they twist light when light goes through them. So while you've got your liquid crystals in there, and the light will go through the vertical one, hit the liquid crystals, be rotated through 90 degrees, and then come out through the horizontal one. So you can see through the glass. That's how they... But when you put a current through the liquid crystals, they straighten out, and then they can't let the light through because they don't bend the light anymore, and the light hits the polarizing filter, and then it looks black. And that is how liquid crystal displays work.
Okay.
And you can make them the electrode, you can make any shape you like. So in watches and stuff, that's the reason why the numbers are segmented. So each of the segments is its own little electrode, which is in the shape of the segment. But obviously you can't do that with the TV. So they worked out, but you could do it with a grid. So they set up a grid, and they put the electrodes around the edge, and where they send the electricity down 2 of them, then that makes a pixel. And then once you've got pixels, then you can make pictures, Mark. It's obvious, isn't it?
It's obvious.
So then you've got Seiko come along. It's Seiko, not Psycho, isn't it? Seiko.
It's Seiko, yeah.
Did you know about Seiko, Mark? I didn't know about it. You know about watches and stuff.
I do, yeah.
But actually there's 2 Seikos.
Yeah.
But they were deliberately started they were the same company, and then they decided to boost competition and make them more technologically successful. They deliberately split them into 2 companies in the 50s. So there's Daini Seikosha and Suwa Seikosha, because they're originally called Seikosha, not Seiko. And so this watch is a Suwa Seikosha. But then they ended up getting completely split apart. So Daini Seikosha renamed itself Seiko in 1983, and Suwa Seikosha merged with Epson in 1985 and then called itself Seiko as well. So now you've got 2 companies that are entirely separate, nothing to do with each other, both called Seiko, who both make Seiko watches. That's mad, isn't that? A mad system?
It is, yeah, it's mad. And then I think when I first learned about that, and then being on Watch for it, and then people started referring to Epsom. You think the printer manufacturer?
The printer manufacturer that everyone hates.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. The most annoying of all printers. Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've ever done a watch with a printer in it.
The Japanese are mad lads, Russ. We just discussed it.
Yeah, absolutely mad lads. And then the thing that made this, so this is the Seiko watch that he's got here, is the T001-5019 TV watch. I've just put the manual there because I quite enjoyed the image on the front of the manual. It's good, isn't it? It's a great design. It's just got a picture of a man in a bowler hat, just looking at his watch walking down the street, which seems a bit dangerous. And I don't know, is he hidden the earphones underneath his bowler hat?
Oh, he must have done. You're absolutely right.
But
did he have one of those radio hats? Do you remember with the earphones that came down the aerial that went up? Yeah. But it's in bowler form.
But of course, Mark, do you remember the Seiko was popularised by a particular film that came out in 1982, certainly around then. Can you remember it making an appearance?
Was it Rocky 2? I don't know. What was it?
Here we go.
I don't remember.
What's that?
Oh, that's the latest liquid crystal TV.
Very handy. Perfect image, Q.
Really 007.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I don't know why you admire that man.
Obviously, it's the way it seems in and out like that.
Which actually is what makes it childish.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I just love how old Roger always looks in those later ones.
I was just thinking, he looks so hooked.
He looks like he needs to tuck his neck into his collar.
And it's not even his last film.
No. Obviously, Q Branch had clearly slightly upgraded the watch there because it's in full colour.
It's a beautiful
and has film quality image on it. But yeah, apparently, obviously, the battery pack, as Macann says, the battery pack is actually in your pocket. It's like you run a wire up your arm and you keep the battery pack in your pocket. But it apparently could run for 5 hours on 2 AAA batteries, which is that's pretty good, isn't it?
I'm like you. That I simply do not believe that.
No, right, yeah, because batteries were terrible in the 80s, weren't they? Batteries never lasted about 5 minutes in anything.
No.
I always think the gold standard of that is the Game Gear. The batteries in the Game Gear would last 30 seconds. But that was full colour, though.
But then I had a Game Boy, and that would last
that lasted a long time.
10 hours. Yeah. But then it wasn't full colour.
No. Obviously, released in Japan in 1982, but then released in Europe and America in 1984, because, of course, the Japanese are way ahead of us, Mark, as we all know.
Way ahead of us.
but it cost $495 when it was released in the US market, which, according to the old inflation calculator, is $1,600 now. It's a fair old wedge, isn't it?
It's a fair old bit of bunce.
The only thing you can really do with it is impress people for about 30 seconds with it, can't you? That's about the limits of its capabilities, isn't it?
Do you know, my mum had a little small TV. It was probably like, it was a cube, and it was like 5 or 6 centimeters each side, and I was obsessed with it because I thought it was, I couldn't believe it. It was just so small and amazing. But the reality was, it never left the kitchen. It was a portable TV, and it would never leave the kitchen. And what would you do with it? Because actually, the thing about it, the thing that they allude to there is that it's all well and good being able to watch TV in your wrist if you can pick up the signal.
Yeah.
And you were reliant on the metal aerial coming out and actually being able to properly pick up a TV signal. And if you look at the aerial on a roof, what it isn't is a small bendable pole. It is a big, huge metal thing.
Yeah.
So it's like that was always the kind of the weak link.
Yeah. I'm obviously, when I first got a telly in my bedroom when I was a teenager, that wasn't connected. That wasn't connected to the main aerial at all. That just had basically a coat hanger sticking out the back.
Yeah,
and it was absolute murder. Like trying to, get stuff tuned in properly.
And it was weather dependent, right? You would know where to point it, and that's where you learn the idea that actually if you point it at your neighbour's aerial, you actually might be able to pick up a better signal because they broadcast as much as they receive. But yeah, it's like if it was like today and there was thunder and lightning, you wouldn't be able to see anything.
No.
How are you supposed to watch, Phil Cool late at night? Sneak down and watch Phil Cool on ITV at 9:30 if you when there's a thunderstorm on.
So I thought, you would think, technology improves. This Seiko would herald a whole dawn of a new age of ever improving television wristwatches. Which transpired that just almost nobody bothered ever to make any ever again. So I only found 3 more examples of television wristwatches ever made since this Seiko. So that absolute monstrosity on that person's arm who's wearing the ring.
Yep, the lady's arm.
That is the NHJ VTV 101. That's the first ever colour one on your arm. And that came out in 2004.
Jeez, I mean, give it up.
And then next to that, that's the Super Dry TV watch. So, Asahi Super Dry beer.
Yeah. They came up with this as a kind of
they made 5,000 of these, and you had to win a sweepstakes to get one.
That's kind of cool.
So yeah, only 5,000 knows existence, which is mental. Yeah. They've just invented a thing that does. But that was also a mobile. That's both a mobile phone and a television. Quite sizable, I would say. But I mean, you've got some bragging rights there, haven't you? And then the last one I could only find on one website on the whole internet. But apparently that's a SUPRL SPWTV01, which came out in 2012, Mark. But the problem is that by 2012, almost every country had shut down their analog TV signal, and these wristwatch TVs can only work with a UHF analog TV signal. They don't have don't have digital decoders in them or anything like that. So they're all useless. They're all rendered useless by the digital switchover, and also, more importantly, rendered useless by the fact we've all got smartphones where we can watch as much stuff as we like. But
constantly, yeah.
I know, still something exciting about them, I guess. I think it's Dick Tracy. Didn't Michael Knight have one at one point? Oh no, I think he was just speaking to his one. I don't think he had a TV in it. Or did he? Maybe he did.
Didn't The Shadow have one in that great film starring what's his name?
It was the Dick Tracy definitely had one.
Definitely, yeah, Dick Tracy, but I also believe...
Do you think The Shadow had one as well?
I think The Shadow had one too.
I don't know if I've seen The Shadow. I was thinking I should watch Dick Tracy again the other day, because I haven't seen that for about 30 years.
Do you know, I bet you it's aged well, in that it wasn't great at the time, but I suspect you'd look back and go, like, I can't believe this. I
never knew we had it so good.
Yeah, we never knew we had it so good. Yeah, you're absolutely right, yeah. Oh, there were simpler times, Russ. All right, then.
But I do think, hang on, Macann does say something which I think is absolutely right at the very, very end. What does he say? He says
that liquid crystals, with their minute power consumption and wafer-thin construction, will continue to be
improved for television.
That
Yeah.
is the prediction of the whole programme, I would say. He's
Yeah.
basically predicted
Yeah.
flat screen televisions there for us, Mark.
Yeah.
I thought it was worth pointing that out for,
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
for an audit later. But then we go on to see what other marvellous things liquid crystals
Oh
can
my
do, Mark.
God,
They really are the
amazing.
wonder product of the age.
Yeah. Oh my God, amazing.
Meanwhile, Kieran is being dazzled by other applications of liquid
I
crystals.
can't stand it's drivers who won't dip their headlights when they're supposed to. It's no joke getting blinded by your own rear-view mirror. Take a look at this mirror, though. It's the very latest in liquid crystal motor accessories. If things get too bright, this wing mirror simply stops being a mirror. The whole surface is covered with liquid crystals, arranged so that light can pass through to the mirror behind. In the corner here, though, there's a photocell, and if that detects a strong light, like a headlamp, it applies a voltage, which in this case makes the liquid crystals rearrange themselves so as to scatter the glare. And you can see, if I put my finger over it, it starts to behave just like an ordinary mirror again. But it's not just electrical voltages that liquid crystals will respond to. They can also be made sensitive to heat. This fire runs on a cylinder of butane gas. The problem is, though, how do I know when it's starting to run low? Well, this patch of stick-on liquid crystals can tell me. As the liquefied butane evaporates to feed the burner, it cools down, just like any evaporating liquid. And the crystals respond to this cooling by changing colour. In fact, there's the dividing line there. It's a little bird, I grant you, but no less accurate, I think, than the petrol gauge in your motor car. Now, the same idea of thermochromic liquid crystals, those are ones which change colour with temperature, is also now finding medical applications. Look, one plastic sheet, one hand, put them together, and look what happens. The hottest parts show up as blue, greens a bit cooler, and orange cooler still. You'll notice it's the tips of the fingers and the palm, the fleshy parts, which are warmest. And doctors are thinking of using this technique to monitor the effects of anti-inflammatory drugs on, say, an arthritic hand. Mind you, the chances are that you'll first come across this material not in your doctor's surgery, but in your local video shop. Look, 2 video film cassettes. Both look the same, but only this one is the genuine article. The other is an illegal pirated version. And here's how you can tell. A small patch of liquid crystals. Now, we're not saying it'll stop video piracy, but it could provide an ingenious security check, rather like a watermark, to show if you're being sold the real thing. It's cheap and relatively easy to make if you've got the raw materials. But what won't be easy is getting your hands on the raw materials. The idea is they'll only be available to properly licensed dealers. And if you try to peel the patch off so that you can put it on a false tape, well, don't bother, because the liquid crystals are then destroyed. So, something there for the pirates to chew over.
3 exciting uses for liquid crystals there. We've got well, number 1. Actually, I think that seems like I like the idea of that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you convinced me it's safe, so yeah, why not?
It's the second mini metro of the episode. Kieran sitting in it, and he explains that to prevent the glare of a car behind you, headlights in your rear view mirror. You've got a little light detector on there, detects when there's glare, and it will turn on the liquid crystals and dim your mirror. The only problem is obviously you can't see anything in your mirror then because it completely makes it completely opaque rather than just like dimming it. So you've got to weigh up what's more important, being blinded by the car behind or just not being able to see behind you. What that did make me think of was that in any car, any car that's been built in the past 40, 50 years, the rear view mirror has a little button, like a little knob on the side of it, which if when you're driving at night, if the car behind you is the lights are blinding you, you push it, suddenly you can still see behind the car, but the lights are no longer very bright. And whenever I've used that while driving the car, I've always gone, I don't know how that works. How does that work? I must look that up when I get home. And then obviously I've got home and completely forgotten how to look it up. So this is the first time ever I've actually had the wherewithal to look up how that works. So it turns out that what it is that obviously it's a mirror. So the backing is flat, but the glass in front of the mirror is actually slightly trapezoidal. So it's not aligned with the backing. It's see-through, but it's not aligned. So when you're looking in the mirror normally, you don't notice because you're just looking at the reflection through the glass.
Yeah.
But at night, when there's light shining on it, when you flip that knob, it angles the mirror bit up at the ceiling of the car where it's dark, where you can't see anything. But the glass remains flat facing the back of the car. So actually what you're seeing is the reflection of the headlights in the glass rather than the mirror. And obviously if you reflect something in glass, it's not as reflective as a mirror. So it reduces the amount of light you see. And that's why it dims. So that's what it is, Mark. It's very simple.
Okay.
And that explains. So that's a little explanation for anybody else who always wondered that. But these days, loads and loads and loads of cars come with self-dimming mirrors. They don't use liquid crystals. They use something called electrochromic gel, which is better than liquid crystals because you can dim it, but you can still see through it. So rather than making the mirrors go opaque, it will just dim the image, which is what you want, really, isn't it? That's what you want.
Yeah.
But if you buy any Volvo, Lexus, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, VW, Toyota, Subaru, Ford, Hyundai or Tesla, they will have that either a standard or an optional extra, Mark. So, yeah. So that's a great invention. The next one I don't like. The next one, he's just got one of those old gas heaters, which I haven't seen one of those gas heaters with the butane tank in it for ages.
Well, they
used to be everywhere.
They were always and then until like young kids started getting melted into their
shell suits.
Shell suits.
I was saying the other day.
Well, look, houses come with central heating now. They didn't used to, but now they do. So that's what it is.
I was saying the other day, isn't it the warning against shell suits melting has got to be one of the most successful sort of safety campaigns of all time?
Yes.
Because if you say shell suit to anybody who of a certain age, they will make reference to them melting when they stand for somebody says who passed their fire.
It's same reason people slightly younger than us don't drink Sunny D.
Yeah. Well, what was it? There was another one. There was another about still tango turning into booze, wasn't there? Do you remember that one?
I do. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was confused by this next one. This next one, he's got a load of strips of liquid crystal.
5?
I don't know why there's so many
canister?
of them. They're quite big. There's so many, and he stuck them to the butane canister. And he says something about, it's because when the butane evaporates, it gets cold, and then you can see the difference. So I kind of understand that, but it seems why is there so many of them on there? And only one of them's working. I didn't understand that.
Yeah. But also, just having a little gauge at the top of the canister to show that it's empty does exactly the same thing. It's an appalling example.
Yeah, because obviously they do make thermometers out of liquid crystals, but they use them, but it's for like doing thermometry things. So you can go on.
Yeah.
You can go on Amazon and buy.
We had a forehead strip as a family. You put them on your forehead and it would show you. Yeah, absolutely.
You can buy a pack of 10 of them on Amazon for €8. A lot of them they use.
Not in this country, Russ. We use the King's Pound here.
Brewing, they use them a lot.
Yeah.
And aquariums, they use them a lot. Apparently, they're the two big ones. Okay. So I guess you just stick it on the inside of the tank, make sure your fish aren't, boiling the bag.
Too hot.
I just think with a bit of extra thought, they could have come up with a better example of the temperature thing than a butane gas cylinder. That's all I'm saying, Mark. I mean, they could have gone back. They could have gone back to Raymond's wine cellar.
Oh, yeah.
And demonstrated it on his bottles of wine, couldn't they? Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure he wouldn't have minded. And then the
last one.
Oh no, but there is one other bit which I'm not even going to cover, where he just pushes his hand against a sheet. Which did that not immediately remind you of that bit in the X-Files opening?
It didn't introduce, but the picture. When I saw the picture, I laughed out loud, Russ.
I was talking to listener Graham Rayburn about the X-Files opening title, about the opening titles the other day, about how amateurish they are, and the fact that they stuck with them. They're incredible. If you watch them, they're really bad. It's like they're placeholder titles that they just put together for the pilot or something. And you'd think, they'll come along and make some better titles than this.
Yeah.
But they just kept them for the whole of the programme. They're terrible, terrible titles. Anyway, and then the last bit, he's got 2 Star Wars VHSs. And the only way you can tell the difference between the two of them is if you stick a liquid crystal sticker to it, because criminals could never have access to liquid crystal stickers. I think is
absolutely amongst the most stupid things I've ever seen in this program.
I could understand if it was if the sticker had a complex design on it.
Yes,
like had a little Chewbacca's face or something.
Which they did at some point. Like you get little 20th Century Fox ones. Like it would be really, really complex. And that was why they were used, because it was a level of complexity that was just, why would you bother?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But also, like, if you're selling hooky tapes, you don't really, no one cares if it's authentic or not.
No.
So it's needlessly expensive nonsense.
No.
But the idea is, he actually, the thing is, the tape they have attached to the VHS, it's badly cut. Like, it's not even, like, it looks like somebody's ripped it and stuck it on.
Yeah. But then it did remind me of actually a good use of them when we were kids.
Yes.
Was the insignia on Transformers. I think that was my first ever exposure to liquid crystal, thermocratic liquid crystals. And I did check that their official name is rub sign. I didn't know that. Did you know they're called rub signs?
No, I didn't know that. Yeah.
And I did check because I did wonder. Because obviously when we were kids, the in-universe reason for it was that it could be a Decepticon pretending to be an Autobot. So you rubbed it to find out whether it's a Decepticon or Autobot. Yeah. Right. But actually, the reason why they did it is because there was loads of knockoff Transformers around at the time, and only genuine Transformers would have the rub signs on them. So it really was just an authenticity thing. They only did it between 1984 and 1988. They stopped doing it after that. So yeah.
Oh.
So we lived in the golden age of Transformers rub signs, Mark.
Yeah.
You didn't know you had it so good, did you?
No, I really didn't, Russ. I did not know we had it so good.
No.
Why do we have to grow up, Russ?
After all that, Mark, I guess we have to come to the big final,
the
big final segment of the show.
I'm gonna strap myself in, Russ, as I jump out of my seat with excitement.
Might seem a strange job, but for years, scientists at the Grassland Research Institute have been scrutinising sheep while they eat, to find the ideal length of grass to keep them happy. As grass gets shorter, sheep have to spend more and more time grazing to get the same nourishment. And as the better quality grass gets scarce, they also have to spend more time ruminating, that's re-chewing and digesting the rough stuff. Being sheep scientists means standing out in a field for hours on end, in all weathers, studying these sheep. So they invented this. It's a halter with a noseband that conducts a small electrical current. Every time the sheep chews, it stretches the conducting noseband, causing a small voltage drop. The signal is recorded for up to 24 hours on a tape cassette. And we've got Dudley here, who's kindly modelling one for us. And as you can see, he's carrying the tape recorder on his back. At the end of the day, the tape is analysed by a computer. And the computer is programmed so it can recognise the difference between the signals. Now, this irregular signal here, believe it or not, means that the sheep definitely is grazing. And when that changes to a regular signal, we've got one here with a beep, the scientists know that the sheep have been ruminating. Their jaws have been moving from side to side, and they're probably less than happy. The computer can work out exactly how much time Dudley spent grazing and ruminating, confirming if he's eating well or if he needs to move to greener pastures. So scientists are now able to monitor these different grazing conditions and how they affect sheep and advise on the economics of sheep farming without having to watch their flocks by day or night.
Russell, the whole time we've been recording, I have been anticipating this segment more than anything. I cannot wait to see what you have discovered for us all. What have you got for us, big guy?
Well, Mark, before I get into these deep detail into this segment, I feel like we have to admit something to our listeners. To our listeners.
What?
So we're actually recording now. 20 hours later than
20 hours later.
20 hours later than we were before you just heard about those sheep. And well, I mean, it's not really our fault, is it, Mark? Because actually what happened basically was we started watching that segment and it was so boring that we both fell asleep, passed out, and woke up 20 hours later.
One day we'll release the Snyder Cut, the full unedited 20 hours.
Oh, God, that was boring, isn't it? One of the most boring segments of all time.
It's awful, Russell. Okay, if we're letting daylight in on magic, I actually, when we were finishing the episode yesterday, before we realised we didn't record this bit, I press ganged you into not telling me anything about this at all, because I said this is the worst, most boring segment I've ever seen, and actually I didn't care to know, and I cook a snook at any listener out there who is desperate, gagging to find out. So but I'm much more enthusiastic today, Russ.
Are you more
Can't
enthusiastic?
wait to hear what you have to say. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I would struggle to be less enthusiastic than I was last night.
Well, I mean, what could I say? I mean, Judith's got a pen of sheep. One of them, notably, is called Dudley, Mark.
Dudley, yeah.
And I think you know what I'm going to ask you here now.
The answer is no.
Is he called Dudley because he's named after Dudley Sutton, the actor who played Tinker in Lovejoy? And because Dudley Sutton could possibly be rhyming slang for mutton. What do you think, Mark?
I think, once again, you have put so much more effort into thinking about this segment than anyone at Tomorrow's World did when they actually produced this, Russ. Because that leap of imagination and ingenuity is way beyond what we're being offered here. Though I do maintain, I mean, obviously Lovejoy hadn't started yet. And yes, listeners, at some point in the future, I'm sure there will be a surprise special episode where we mostly talk about Lovejoy.
What a great idea, Mark. I hadn't even thought of that.
And I suspect we might even talk about an episode of Bargain Hunt that one of us, you'll never guess which one, might have been on.
I wonder at what point we'll run out of my weird obsessions to do episodes about.
I'm confident we won't. Yeah, was Dudley famous before Lovejoy?
Yes,
I mean, he was.
yeah.
I know he was. Yeah, you've definitely seen him and stuff.
He turns up as the baddie in something. Hang on. What was it? Let me check. Always in Cockneys versus Zombies and the Football Factory.
Is he the Football Factory? Gosh.
I don't know whether he stabs anyone up. I don't remember him stabbing anyone up.
Shanking someone. Well, again, they're after Lovejoy. Anyway, look, the answer is no. I don't think he's named after Tinker from Lovejoy. No, you'd name a cow after Dudley Moore, wouldn't you? But not a sheep.
Oh, Dudley Moore.
Moore, yeah. But not a sheep, so that's what I don't know.
Oh, I can't find it. I've definitely seen him in a 60s thing as the baddie, I'm sure. But it turns out he's in loads of stuff. He's in everything.
Good man. All right.
Anyway,
all right. Jesus Christ,
matter.
Russ.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So I don't really have much to say about it. You'll be pleased to hear I don't really have much to say about this bit. The only thing I would say is that I was interested to find out how much grass a sheep eats in a day.
Mm-hmm.
So a typical sheep weighs 70 kilos, which means it's a perfect weight for Mr. T to throw through a 4-inch wooden
Yes,
door.
absolutely.
Same weight
Yeah.
as a dwarf stuntman.
I see, that's what he practiced on.
A typical 70 kilogram sheep will eat 7 kilos of fresh grass per day. That's a lot of grass, isn't it? Oh God, I don't think I could eat 7 kilos of grass a day, Mark.
I can't even picture. I mean, visually, that seems like a lot of grass that I'm picturing.
I mean, I just had a salad for dinner, and it had about
7 kilograms.
I had about a quarter of a bag of spinach in it. So what's that?
Yeah.
That's probably about 200 grams of spinach, maybe. No, less than that.
Yeah.
150 grams of spinach, and I'm absolutely stuffed. So I mean, I'd be a terrible sheep.
How many stomachs have they got though?
Oh, yeah, well,
You've only got the one.
Yeah. I do not have the ability to ruminate. I am not a ruminant.
I do love that word.
Yeah, I mean, I
ruminated, digested, and cogitated.
So, studying sheep rumination is a thing that people still do. They're still interested in it. They do attach devices to sheep. Although I found a paper where somebody had gone through all of the other. It's like a paper of papers. They do. It's got a proper name. I can't remember what it's called. Where they look at everyone else's paper and then bring it all together.
Reader's Digest.
The findings indicate, this is what the findings of this paper, the findings indicate that sensor-based systems have been used to monitor and analyse rumination behaviour in sheep, but research regarding the optimal sensor position and settings is not yet conclusive. Notably, none of the commercially available sensors were specifically designed for sheep. There is a need for a tailor-made sensor solution for sheep. Utilising such sensors can improve sheep welfare and enhance our understanding of their behaviour in various contexts. So,
I thought we just saw one here.
Well, exactly. So, I mean, what this suggests to me is that this one that Judith's got here never made it to market, or there was something wrong with it.
I think you mean market.
Hey, you really have perks up, haven't you? That sleep has really done you good.
20 hours does that to you, man.
So I guess there must be some. I think there's some sort of standard one that they can attach to a sheep or a cow, or a goat or whatever.
I can't imagine the mouse is, operates in a completely different, unusual sheep-like way. Like it just opens and closes, right?
Yeah, it's just chewing, isn't it?
Fair enough then. Chewing.
But obviously AI's here now, Mark. So I did find another paper.
Oh, thank God.
Some Chinese lads. In 2024, they combined a few different deep learning methods, and they just filmed the sheep in the field, and they taught a computer to watch the videos and study the sheep's behaviour by that. And they compared it to the standard normal monitoring machine, and the accuracy was only about 4% different. So it's all going to be AI in the end, Mark.
Which is as good as you need, right?
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to be absolutely perfect for sheep studying. But yeah, no, that's about it for that. I mean, that's quite an ending, isn't it? That's quite, it was well worth the wait.
Yeah.
Well worth the wait.
That was, do you know what, Russ? I can't believe I denied you the opportunity to convey all that information. But what is weird is how little you pushed back. Lost to time, unfortunately. Lost to time. In that case, are you very happy that we move on and we ordered this episode?
Absolutely, Mark. Yeah, let's get cracking.
All right. We'll start with the year in context, Russell. So tell me about the cinema box office.
Well, so top 6 this time.
Okay.
Number 6, got the movie Tron.
Okay.
Number 5, First Blood. Surprised me that First Blood had come out after Rocky 3. I always put the Rambo films and the Rocky films roughly approximately level.
Yeah, like they were in lockstep with each other. Yeah, I found that quite surprising when you told me that yesterday as well.
Number 4, Heat and Dust.
Which I still haven't heard of, even though you told me about it yesterday.
I
was trying to remember the titles. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I was trying to remember the title of the film I couldn't remember, that I'd never heard of. Couldn't even remember it.
Do you reckon it's set in the desert? It probably is, isn't it? Oh, it's got a picture of the Taj Mahal. It's got a picture of the Taj Mahal on the poster.
I was about to say, they're normally Indian settings, aren't they, Merchant Ivory?
Number 3, The Evil Dead. Number 2, Airplane 2, the sequel. And, of course, I presume BA wouldn't want to watch that one.
No.
Find it too frightening.
It seems like an odd time to release a new plane to the public when Airplane 2 is... Oh, though actually, that was set in space, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. And number 1, E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Yeah. Goodbye, Eithne. Fabulous. What a film. And quite timely, because obviously...
Yes,
as you said, Steven Spielberg has a
Senor
new
Spielberg. Yes, yeah. I was going to go and watch that film this evening, but I couldn't because you had to do this instead.
You had to cancel your hot date.
Yeah, so I'm going to
watch the cinema
to
do this. Yeah. Well, that'll teach you for punching your microphone so hard. Pop chart, Russ.
Pop charts. Number 10, Too Shy by Kaja Gugu. Number 9, one of your favourites, Orville's Song by Keith Harris and Orville.
Well done.
Number 8, Gloria, Laura Branigan.
Yeah.
Enjoy her delicious beef and mustard crisps.
Laura Branigan.
Number 7, Heartache Avenue by the Maisonettes. Number 6, Stepping Out, Joe Jackson. Number 5, Sign of the Times, the Bell Stars. Number 4, The Story of the Blues, Wah! ! Number 3, Electric Avenue, Eddie Grant. Number 2, You Can't Hurry Love by Sir Phil Collins. And
I like the way you said that. You emphasised that in such a lovely... You can't hurry love.
Number 1, Dan Under by Men at Work.
That's a good shot.
A few top tunes in that.
Top tunes. What about an advert, Russ? What have you got for me? What have you got for us all?
Well, obviously, Mark, I normally pick something from the UK
of course,
television advertising, but during my research for this episode, I stumbled across this, and it was just too good to miss because it fits in so well with the theme, and it's from 1983. So here it is.
Mr. T, he's got legs and moves. He's 12 inches high. Mr. T, he's got a real cool haircut and a mean look in his eye. He's got arms that move and fistful of rings. You can't pretend that Mr. T is real tough and mean. Mr. T, Mr. T, Mr. T by Galoob.
So that That is not a B.A. Baracus doll. That is a Mr. T doll.
That is indeed a Mr. T doll, yes. Yeah. It's Mr. T doll. And I'll do the lyrics to just in case you missed the lyrics. I mean, it's a great tune in that advert. Much better than the French A-Team theme tune, I think you'll find.
Oh, please don't.
The lyrics to that advert were, Mr. T, he's got legs that move and he's 12 inches high. Mr. T, he's got a real cool haircut and a mean look in his eye. He's got arms that move and fistful of rings. You can pretend that Mr. T is really tough and mean. Mr. T. It's good, isn't it?
No, could AI do that? No, they couldn't, Russ.
No.
I just find it, I still find it amazing that Mr. T had an action figure and not like an A-Team figure. I was like who else falls into that category, like of the actor having an action figure?
Oh, and the action figure looking the same as their character as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
They're just wearing different clothes,
like...
but they look the same. Just wearing different clothes. That's it. Yeah. That's a very interesting thing. I also had a which was definitely knockoff because he had a Mr. T haircut, but his hair was slightly longer. I think somebody brought it back for me from holiday in like Spain or something. But it was one of those. It was like a puppet. You put your hand up his like t-shirt, and you held the and he had boxing gloves, and you pulled triggers. You pulled triggers, and he boxed. He was a boxing Mr. T.
Yeah. Okay.
That was good. Yeah.
That was good.
But the main, obviously, what this advert reminded me of was one of the other facts that I pulled from Mr. T, the man with the gold, that's going to blow your socks off, Mark. And that is that the Mr. T doll outsold Cabbage Patch Kids by 10 million units.
10 million?
10 million. 10 million more Mr. T dolls were sold than Cabbage Patch dolls. And
the entirety of Cabbage Patch dolls?
Like, everyone bangs on about Cabbage Patch dolls, don't they? Cabbage Patch dolls. Oh, Cabbage Patch dolls this, the Cabbage Patch dolls that. So the 80s Cabbage Patch dolls. No one ever talks about the Mr. T dolls, even though they outsold Cabbage Patch dolls by 10 million, Mark.
Well, I saw Cabbage Patch dolls when I grew up. I never saw a Mr. T doll.
Did you?
No, I did. I know.
You just think you did because everyone bangs on about them. It's Mr. T erasure. It's Mr. T erasure. There's a conspiracy to try and make Mr. T a laughing stock and like remove all of his great achievements. It's terrible, Mark. I think it might be the CIA. I'm not sure. I don't know who it is, but which
reminded me because the CIA. This is your pet theory, right? That the CIA tried to undermine Mr. T to prevent the first Black American president.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. He would have been president by now if he'd not been turned into essentially they made him do loads of jobs that weren't suitable for him, turned him into like a laughing stock and a thing for kids.
Yes.
And then over the years, he's just been buried by other stuff, and everyone just forgets what an absolute colossus Mr. T was back in the 80s.
Well, I would say two things. I would refer listeners back to the clip you played from Dutch TV, where I would argue that Mr. T's off-the-cuff declaration to the crowd was at best clumsy and inorganic. Which might suggest that maybe he wouldn't have been a natural politician like you suggest.
Well, I counter you, Mark.
Go on, yeah.
You go on YouTube and look up some of his appearances on chat shows, such as David Letterman and things like that.
Yeah.
Where he's actually very good at dealing with
that's fair.
With all the stupid questions people give him.
Yeah. Though obviously you do pre-interviews on American chat shows, but I get your point. Yeah, that's fair. But the other thing, it was like normally I would poo-poo your conspiracy theory, were it not for the fact that I keep getting sold a podcast on, I think Spotify Premium with, I think Gordon Carrera. No, not Gordon Carrera. One of the ex-Newsnight people who has a guest on who says, now look, basically something like, now look, listen to me. This sounds stupid, but weirdly, there is evidence that the CIA might have poisoned Gordon Banks before England played Brazil in the 1970 World Cup. And it's almost Russell, but not quite enough to get me to tune in and listen to that. So actually, to be honest, the CIA wouldn't put it past them.
No, I wouldn't.
No, yeah.
No. I wonder, why would they poison Gordon Banks, though? Who did we lose to in that?
It was Brazil, yeah. That's when England were world champions and they lost to Brazil in a tremendous game for the ages, between two equals. And, yeah.
Surprised me.
Okay, well, we'll move on from that anyway, the shady corner of the world. So magazine covers, Russ.
Scientific American, machines that walk. It's quite a big topic these days, isn't it? I was always, Boston Dynamics were always the ones ahead, but I've seen that race they had recently in China with all the Chinese ones. Extraordinary.
Yeah. Mad lads. A bunch of mad lads over there.
Popular science, giant wind farms. Another big thing these days. Seems like everything in 1983 was, preparing us for now. Time magazine, the death penalty. And it's got some sort of depressing description of somebody being strapped into an electric chair. 14 Times, Robert Anton Wilson on James Joyce, Jack Angel, he survived Hell's Fire, and Toads trapped in solid as a rock. Private Eye, Whitewash Award for Franks. And he's a man with a pipe with a book in front of him saying, "Didn't she do well?" So that was Lord Franks, who did a report into the Falklands War and concluded that Maggie did a absolutely bang-up job. And all those Argies absolutely deserved the thrashing that they got.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Belgrano was sunk perfectly reasonably.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
fabulous.
Yeah.
Well done, everyone.
Yeah.
Slaps on backs all round.
And Playboy, it's a holiday anniversary issue. It's got TV sexiest sisters Audrey and Judy Landers in it. I did check to see who they were. I vaguely recognised them. They're the sort of girls that just turned up in lots of 80s stuff. Judy Landers is particularly interesting because she managed to star in 2 episodes of Knight Rider and 2 episodes of The A-Team, and on each occasion she was playing a different character. So, but then Audrey never appeared. You'd think they should have got Audrey in to play 2 of those bits, and then they could have split it all between them. But Judy hogged all 4 roles. And then also in there is Playboy interview with Dudley Moore, or Dudley Moore, as we like to call him now.
Dudley Moore, yes. Okay, well done. All right, let's do it then, Russ. Let's audit this episode. Most important invention. Now, I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head by highlighting McCann's last line.
Yes.
From the bit about the TVs, where he just basically, in a throwaway comment, says how flat screen TV is coming down the pipe, which is absolutely true. And I think I was saying to you yesterday, is like, I think for me, the most rewarding thing when we do these audit times are not actually it is really amazing when they show something off for the first time that we know is going to be incredible down the line. It's actually when they don't quite know how good something is and maybe kind of lightly allude to it based probably on something somebody told them about it. And the example I always think of is the segment of the Prince of Wales Innovation Award where they talk about gyroscopes, a company in Britain making gyroscopes, and the example they have is Howard driving along in a Lotus, and it's being filmed from a camera and a TV, and they turn the gyroscopes up, and the camera becomes rock steady. And the fact that actually that company then basically created these miniature gyroscopes that, unbeknown to anyone at the time, are basically the only reason we can use smartphones.
Yes,
And which I just think is amazing. It's like, how would you know? And yet there it is. So, but actually, this throwaway comment from McCann is kind of fits into the same categories for me. But in general, actually, to be honest, I know we were slightly counting down the episode at various points. Everything kind of is quite good in this.
Yes, there's
not
nothing
the segments,
completely
but the actual
rubbish in
items. No, there really isn't. Yeah, I mean the quality of the segments themselves, but like actually everything's kind of rock solid.
I do. I was thinking the early 80s episodes are usually quite boring, aren't they? Like I would say 80 to 83, I think, are quite boring episodes generally. It's not the presenters. The presenters I like, but there is something a little bit boring about the episodes.
It's all a bit dry.
Yeah,
I can't put my finger on it. We have a few more episodes to audit before we can start really pulling together some kind of grand overarching narrative, right? Most worthless invention, and I suppose this kind of goes to what we're saying, is that there's nothing kind of particularly worthless. Like the liquid crystal, the usage of some of the liquid crystal items, like on the
butane tank, that just seems silly.
I mean, that's just kind of stupid.
But they do work as thermometers, so
But exactly. So, I mean, that's the closest I think we can get to. I'm just looking up the list again. Most inaccurate prediction of the future. I can't even think of like a funny throwaway one.
No, there wasn't. Yeah, there weren't really any predictions of the future, were there?
No, not really. That's fine. That's okay. Worst screw up. We have a few here consistently and bizarrely, and in a way we don't often see. Some really established presenters here simply are incapable or unable or unwilling to keep track of which camera they're supposed to be on. Which, as you suggest in the notes, is there something like, is the camera?
Are the lights not coming on the cameras correctly?
Is there some kind of technical issue in the studio that means that they're unable?
Because they're looking into the wrong camera for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think we both agree that the worst screw up, because it is one that we just don't like to see, is the fact that Macann introduces the item from Kieran about wing mirrors on the mini metro, and Kieran starts playing before Macann has introduced it, which is just slipshod.
Yeah.
Best use of music? Well, I think there's only really one answer to this, and that, of course, is Miss Grace Jones' Pull Up the Bumper, which is much superior to the Beatles Fixing a Hole, even if the Beatles Fixing a Hole almost fits into the Homes Under the Hammer rule of good use of music.
Yeah, yeah.
The Homes Under the Hammer Route 1 approach to soundtracks normally is a success, but in this particular one, if you're going to play a pretty badass song, you're going to get points from us. Best attempt at making something boring interesting.
Well, I think it's the same segment, isn't it?
I say so, yeah.
Motorbike test.
Yep.
Like slowly overtaking a mini metro.
It's
not
and they've turned it into Tom from Sweden's Wet Dream, haven't they? Almost entirely, it does not require any of that.
Right.
And it's clearly a moment of awakening for many people up and down Britain. Most notable clothing, and I think for the same reason, I think we have to see
Macann's black leathers.
Yeah, absolutely. War. Well done, Peter. Did we see anything in the episode that made it to the future? I mean, shockingly, I think pretty much everything makes it through.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's kind of remarkable, despite the fact that it's a pretty boring
really,
episode.
The wristwatch TV is the only one that didn't really, and that's just purely because we've got phones now, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We have TV's better than the TV's we had in our house, just sitting on our in our pockets. And what does this episode tell us about the 27th of January 1983?
Well, I don't want to hammer this point home, Mark.
No,
but it's the point.
You're going to belabour a point, are you?
It's that 1983 is the year of Mr. T. And with good reason.
Yeah. And obviously A-Team hasn't landed in Britain yet, and probably won't do for months, if not, until the end of the year. But I'll say this, he is written into this episode like Blackpool through rock, like marrow in bone.
Yeah, yeah.
I never knew how much B.A. Baracus was in this episode until you pointed it out.
Yeah, it's in everyone's subconscious, Mark. They don't even know. They're putting together a program. They don't even know they're putting all of these Mr. T references into it. But they can't help themselves.
And I suppose with hindsight, knowing how much power he had over British broadcasting, even before his first episode was broadcast on NBC of the A-Team, no wonder the CIA put so much effort into stopping him. That much power cannot rest in one man alone.
Yeah.
We're going to look at the tropes now, Russ. Presenter having to speak over louder sounds. Weirdly, quite the opposite, which is obviously Peter speaking quietly because he has this new bikerphone technology.
Yeah.
So we can't click that. There were no niche bicycle inventions.
No.
There was nothing to do with oil rigs. I'm going to say something quite controversial because I've been ruminating on this for the last 19 and a half hours. I think we might have to think about retiring that particular trope.
Oh, really?
I'm just putting that out there. I'm just putting it out there.
Surely,
I'm not saying we should.
Surely item presented from a gantry needs to be knocked out before oil
That's
rigs.
True. Okay. Yeah, you're right. We'll put a pin in those. Suspiciously obvious brand name and the ad-free BBC. Absolutely. Yeah. There is an entire advert in there for British Airways.
Yeah. And Seiko as well.
And Seiko, absolutely correct. I can't remember any clear and blatant lying. There was a little bit of casual sexism. Obviously, there were no labs or spaces filled with darkness and star-colored lights because it's the wrong era. There were no Dutch angles, bar the one you highlighted.
Rooted out,
but that's not quite the episode. Again, no item presented from a gantry. There were no dad jokes from Howard's table or the era equivalent. Does the episode end in a damn squib, Russ? You bet your bottom dollar it does.
Yeah.
Press that button so hard I nearly broke the mouse there. Woolard and Macann abroad are common in a small European town. Sadly not. There were no lasers. There were no magnets. There were no boats. Baxter does not bugger off, and they did not travel to Shepherd's Bush, which means there's only 3
very slim pickings.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm being critical, that was not a very good episode of Tomorrow's World.
Well, I'm just glad. How dare you be critical during a recording of Tomorrow's World all the time, in which our whole job is to. It wasn't. I have to say, were it not for you coming up with the Mr. T thing. We would have absolutely been this episode.
yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, I mean, just once again, testament to the power of Mr. T that he managed to turn,
water into wine.
Essentially, episode alchemy that he produced. Yeah.
He's not dead, so we can't make him a saint, but that is his first miracle. Not his first, that is his most recent miracle. So the only thing I'm going to add then, Russ, is that there were 1,409 episodes broadcast of Tomorrow's World over the years. We have now covered 63 of those episodes, which means that there is a paltry, scant 1,346 episodes left for us to audit. Only left for us to audit. That means we have audited 4.4712561% of episodes, leaving us only with 95.528743779 episodes, Russ. But remarkably, we are still on course to conclude our incredible endeavour, a labour that people have pushed upon us, that we have not taken upon ourselves. We will finish by March 2142, Russ.
Wow, Mark. And at some point between now and then, we will do a Noel's House Party episode and a Lovejoy episode. And possibly a Bargain Hunt episode. So that's three covered. Brilliant. Great, Mark.
Brilliant.
Well,
that's fabulous.
Well, Mark, I have to go now because I've just looked out the window and there's a gang of small-time rural crooks standing around my house with pickaxe handles and other makeshift weaponry. So I found myself locked in my house. But luckily I've looked around me and it turns out I've got a full set of tools, an oxyacetylene torch and a load of machine parts. So
what are you going to do?
I think I might have to build something and burst my way out of here in a non-lethal fashion. So what I'm thinking of is maybe some sort of small armour personnel carrier with maybe a clog launcher on the top of it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of that.
No, exactly. That'll teach him a lesson.
Well, you just make sure you use the montage rule of constructing these things, Russ. Otherwise, that'll guarantee it works.
Obviously, it won't work without a montage and that incredible music over the top, of course, as well. So until next episode, if you are on the internet, we will see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Watch us again next week. Until then, good night.
Thank you.